Hey, what's happening, everybody? 6:02 in the Rose City. Time for Dirt and Sprague here, Portland Sports Leader. 105.1 FM, The Fan, 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. How we doing today, Swigard?
We're good.
We're good? We got good feelings on a Tuesday?
Other than Roki Sasaki throwing strikes, everything's good. I watched all 9 innings of that.
You watch a 9-inning spring training game?
Yeah, it started at 6. It got over at like 9:40.
That was your Monday night.
I had the Blazers Nets on the second screen.
Yeah, the game sucked. It went exactly how we thought it would. The game was over at halftime.
Exactly.
I got something in the notes today because the NBA came out with they're lowering, or the projected salary cap is lower than what they thought. It ended up, the number came in a little bit south, and we'll get to that today.
Not significant.
Not a big
in the
chunk.
Scale of things.
No, but it's just when you get news updates from like the NFL and it's, hey, the salary cap's jumping.
10 million more than we thought.
Right. It's like,
and we're going to renegotiate all our TV deals next year.
Rip them up, we're doing them again, right? And all these networks have to panic of how they're going to keep the NFL. And it's, the salary cap in the last 4 years has gone up $100 million.
We're not going to have a news department anymore, but we're going to have the NFL.
Who needs news when you got Tony Romo and Jim Nantz calling Bengals and Chiefs on a Sunday morning? That's all I need, CBS. Don't ruin this for me. But it's so funny to see those sports go from, hey, it's gone up $100 million to the other ones of like, local TV deals are really struggling lately, and the cap projection came in lower than we imagined. And all I could think about, because I saw that story yesterday, I'm like, I'll put that in the notes. We'll get to it on the show. And then I turn on the Blazer game, and I just could not have been more uninterested. We'll get to the Blazers later on as well. But just like you're playing a team.
It was fun watching Tamani.
I mean, he couldn't miss in the first half.
Practice.
He lit him up, but there's just you're playing a team who just does, like.
We're going to get another one.
And that's going to be their week. That's the whole week. Their next 4 or 3 games, counting last night, 4 of just against teams who were, oh my God, it's just, yeah. They're winning, and it's fun, but I had the thought of maybe this is why the number's a little bit lower and your local TV ratings are down, because you got a quarter of the teams in the league that are just completely unwatchable. I will give a tip of the cap to you. I'm not quite that level of baseball fan anymore, although I certainly have been in my life.
Well, that was
of watching a spring training game from start to finish.
Well, it was in Dodger Stadium, so
they're back in big league ballparks.
And it was Sasaki has not been sharp in spring. He was unhittable out of the bullpen in their postseason run.
In the back end of the year last year.
And he's got issues right now. He's all over the place.
We're worried about throwing balls and strikes on game 1.
I thought about stinking it up a preseason, but Sprague's not here, and I'm like, I can't do this.
No.
If Sprague's not here, and him losing his damn mind, because I'm already worried about the 5th starter of the Dodgers.
You got an $8 billion payroll on your team
this year. He didn't give up a hit. But he walked 6 guys.
He's working on his, he's got to clean it up a little bit, all right?
Yeah.
There was a picture the other day. Oh, my God. Anybody who's ever played baseball, and this is like college baseball is fun at the end of the year. I don't watch anything in the regular season.
By the way, all 3 teams in the state of Oregon, college baseball are raking.
We're like the Pilots got a good team. I know Oregon's been decent this year. Oregon State's always good.
Oregon, it keeps winning series.
Yeah.
They're on a California road trip this week that starts today.
Okay.
And the Beavs are
playing
their
USC
opening
today,
week,
I think, right?
They're killing everybody.
I actually saw this random. Now you're sending me down a random rabbit hole. But I had a take on baseball from your spring training game yesterday. Our friend Colin Wilson, who we might have to check in with at some point in the near future, right? He's a huge college baseball guy for the Action Network. We have him on the show all the time. He has a bunch of tickets on future tickets to win the College World Series.
Yes.
And he put out a graphic of like, if you don't have any futures tickets, here's my card and anybody with the odds and all that.
I would think the Ducks would be a good value because they can mash.
The Ducks right now are 40-1 to win the national championship. He has a ticket on them. They actually have better odds than Oregon State right now. Oregon State's 50-1 to win the national championship, but he also has a ticket on Oregon State, to your point. The state of Oregon doing very good in college baseball right now.
Yeah.
I don't watch a ton until we get to like the regionals, and then my team usually chokes and they don't quite get to Omaha, and it's fun to joke about. Watching college baseball, and there was your Sasaki take reminded me of this the other day. The inability for guys at that level to throw strikes is just mind-boggling at times.
Oh, no, I get that. When hot season comes up.
Oh, my God.
And there are games, and you have to remember that, high A is a developmental league.
They're still developing.
And so there's, instructions of, hey, we want this guy and especially if it's a starter and he's supposed to go 4 innings.
Right.
Like, he's supposed to go 4 innings.
Yes.
And if he can't find the strike zone that day,
no,
it
not going to be good.
It is tough, man.
Ball 3, ball 4, ball 5, ball 6, ball 7.
It's one thing if a team comes out and you're like
they're
too
just mashing, yeah. Like, oh, what are you going to do?
You're right there, but your fastball's 3 miles an hour slow, and teams are teeing off on you.
Right,
okay, that happens.
It over the plate.
It's minor league baseball. This is high A level. These guys are developing. They got to go through the process. But when they can't find the strike zone, that's the most excruciating thing.
To watch, and as a player, I'll never forget having games like that. Like, as a catcher watching games like that, and you're behind the plate, and it's just so hopeless. Watching a guy throw ball after ball. There was a video the other day. I obviously wasn't watching the game, but Florida and Alabama were playing in college baseball. I'm assuming both teams pretty good, but I don't know that for a fact off the top of my head. Yeah, right. Yeah. You just assume, right? I assume Florida's pretty good. And the score bug said 11-8, I think, or 11-9. Alabama had the lead in the 8th inning or whatever. And they panned over to the Florida coach, who I'd never heard of before, but now I know who he is. His name is Kevin O'Sullivan. And he was sitting on a bucket outside of the dugout with his hat off, and they were down by 2 in the 8th or whatever. And he's just sitting there rubbing his head, just like, God. And I'm like, what's the context here? And so I put on the clip, and then I look at the box score of the game, and I want to say at that point in the game, Florida had walked 11 batters. And it's just this manager over sitting on his bucket. Just,
and I find one guy that
God,
can throw a damn
get
strike.
me out of here. I don't want to do this anymore. Please, throw a strike. So, to your point of Sasaki, that's a lot of walks. I mean, not giving up hits is good, but
and it
for
was
the
right
love
out of the chute.
God, just find
the
strike
first 5.
zone.
He walked in 2 in the first inning.
Just throw
he
a
had
strike.
like 5 walks, and Rojas, he got a ground ball, and Rojas tried to go to second to get the lead runner and missed.
Yes.
So, yeah.
We're screwed now.
And so they pulled him in the first. So spring training, I didn't realize when they changed this rule. Maybe it's been there for a while. I just haven't paid attention. So they pulled Sasaki, brought in some reliever to get out of the inning, and then Sasaki went out and pitched the second inning.
So they can put a guy back in the game?
I think so. That's got to be just a spring training rule.
You
Because
want
to get guys work, but it's like, okay, dude, we need to move
Let's go
game.
Take a breather here, and then we'll go attack it again.
Watch some video, talk to your pitching coach.
Go throw a couple of pitches down below the dugout.
Yeah, let me go see if I can find the...
where we go from here.
I need to find the official.
It just, I was never a pitcher at any level, but I've certainly, like, in different athletic endeavors, we've all had that. Like, have you ever had the chipping yips? You ever get that where you just like, oh my God, why can't I hit a chip? Yeah. And then you kind of skull one, and then it's in your head. And then you're like,
I got to swing through it, and then you catch it clean, and it goes 50 yards.
There's that's a horrible feeling on the golf course. We've all been there from time to time. I imagine that's what it's like as a pitcher, because it's not like you're not trying to throw strikes. And the thought is just throw a meatball, but they're trying to, and they can't do it.
Sasaki, 2 innings pitched, no hits, allowed 5 earned on 6 walks.
5. It's a no-hitter right there.
So for those of you who
that's a no-hitter right there. Those are good numbers. I like that.
His spring ERA is 15.5.
Hey, it's going to happen to the best of us.
He might be starting in Oklahoma City.
I'd send him down for a little bit.
Either that, or we're going to convert him into
just have him be a reliever permanently. Just have him be a long kind of stretch guy in the bullpen.
I was thinking, this is what everybody is mad at the Dodgers about, because they can afford to make that mistake.
What kind of contract does Sasaki have?
I
How much does he make him? Let's see what his contract is.
What they bid for him, because it was out of the posting from.
Yeah, so you had to pay for the bid.
They paid 65, 80 million something.
Yeah. Let's see.
It wasn't quite. I mean, it wasn't.
It's not. Yeah, because the posting fee was
4 or 5
years
years and like 70 million, or I want to say, or something like that.
Yeah, it was not as much. I'm trying to just pulled up an article in Japanese. That's not.
But like, if the Royals went and did that, or. And
if he didn't perform, you'd be absolutely screwed.
They're totally screwed.
That's your off-season move.
That's the difference between the Dodgers and the Mets and the Yankees. You can afford to make that mistake.
We'll put him in the 6th inning. Who cares? What are we going to,
He's going to be our setup guy.
Throw him back to the bullpen. Yeah. It's fine. It'll be okay.
For Diaz.
Some hot baseball talk right out of the gate.
Anybody tomorrow
who's ever been on the mound and
now, are you wearing your Giants gear tomorrow? I got to wear mine
going to,
Thursday. That's the opening day for the Doyers.
I might double dip the chip, to To be honest with you, because it's, my team plays for some random reason. The Giants are involved on the first game of the year.
We want to sell a game. We want to sell Netflix. They want something exclusive.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. It's their only game of the year, right?
That I don't know.
Okay, I didn't think Netflix had like an actual package. I thought it was like the Christmas Day thing.
They got a couple things. I think they have the Home Run Derby.
That's right. Okay, so they'll have a couple of events.
And then I don't know if they have some other random something or other.
Well, the Synergy is here back-to-back days. Did you know baseball is back?
Yes.
How about that? Opening night is live on Netflix tomorrow. March 25th. That's tomorrow. Aaron Judge and the Yankees clash with Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. MLB opening night, Yankees-Giants live on Netflix tomorrow, 5 o'clock Pacific. 8 p.m. Eastern, if you have to be over there.
2 p.m. Hawaii.
2 p.m. Hawaiian time.
Got to get you on Hawaii time.
I got a Friday tea time.
Where at?
Local. Before we leave, because we're not flying out till Monday, so I'm already on vacation mode though by the time the show's done Friday, and it's going to be like 67 on Friday afternoon. I haven't told the wife yet, so hopefully she's not listening right now. I got to get permission.
You're a loser.
I am a loser. We got a lot to get to on the show today. Hello, everybody. Hope your morning's
by the
off
way,
to a good start.
Dodgers rallied, and it was a 7-7 tie.
Of course they did. Of course they did. You bastard. God, I hate you. It's great to have baseball back in our lives. Tomorrow night it returns. Today on the show, we got the mail sack coming up 9 a.m.
Yes.
Get your questions in. Fan text line 503-864-6326. Send them in. We'll answer them coming up in the final hour of the show. Sports, non-sports, whatever you want to get answered. Fire them away throughout the course of the show. I'll jot them down, and then at 9 a.m. we'll get to them. Bill Oram, our wonderful friend at the Oregonian, the columnist, will join us.
We invited him. Thought it'd be fun to have him in the studio.
Yes.
But it is spring break. He has young ones, as we know. So
yes.
He's on dad duty in the morning.
He's got to watch. He's got to do it. And so he's going to join us on the phone, 8 to 8:30. We'll talk a whole slew of topics.
There's so much stuff going on and off the courts and fields and rinks and all that stuff. I figured let's just a giant potpourri. Maybe he's got something he wants to get off his chest that he can't necessarily write a column about.
He wants to rant about something. We'll always let Oram rant.
Sure.
He's free to do whatever he wants on the program.
So I don't know if he's there with the kiddos and they got, I don't know if they get special, spring break. Maybe get Cocoa Pebbles or
we do anything fun for the week while they're off, while Dad's at home, hanging out. What are we doing for breakfast? Anything fun and special?
Exactly.
It's a good question. So we'll talk to Orm coming up 8 to 8:30. Meringue was all hot and bothered yesterday because of the Dundon sale report, and so I want to ask Bill about that and get his thoughts on. He's paying 80% up front, so that's in the notes. We'll get to that.
That's not an uncommon thing.
I didn't think so either.
I am of the point if there's no reason to believe the expansion's not going to go through.
No.
And the numbers we hear them talking about expansion fees,
let's
insane. Conservatively estimate $7.5 billion per team. That's $15 billion.
$15 billion.
Split that up between the 30 existing ownership groups. At some point within 3 years, you will get a cash infusion of $500 million into the team.
If he wants to kick some our way, we'll take it too.
If that's... He uses that to finish the purchase of it, or that goes into the coffers
for the team.
For some of the other bells and whistles of improvements that are outside the scope of what the public money's going for.
Yeah.
Or you want to front load a couple of contract extensions with whoever at that point.
Right.
I'm not as concerned about that.
I'm not either. I had the same takeaway as you. So I want to ask Bill about that because he's been, and then also the Moda Center stuff. He's been covering that, and so where we're at on that and all that.
The perspective, and maybe he's talked more people. Oregon State is going into the new Pac-12 with 2 brand new head coaches of your money-making programs.
Men's basketball
and
revenue
football programs.
Those are the 2.
And so, but yet, the same guy that's calling the shots has been calling the shots.
Still in charge.
Is still calling the shots.
Old Scotty Barnes is still over there. He's still the head honcho until he retires to his lake house in Montana.
I should have tapped his shoulder when I was sitting next to him having some Happy Panda in the Las Vegas airport waiting to come home. Yeah. I'm like...
They got a Panda Express in their airport in Vegas?
It was an equivalent of it. It was some local,
all right.
Lovely yakisoba.
Are we going to get Panda Express in the Moda Center next year? I sure hope
I don't know why you wouldn't.
We got Panda money buying the team. Why are we not getting a Panda Express?
I would think. Now, I don't know what the existing contract is with the current group that does all of the food and beverage.
Dundon, rip them up.
Oh, jeez.
Let's give me a Panda Express in the arena. So we'll talk to Bill Orm coming up at 8 a.m. We have maybe the craziest headline that I have ever seen.
You sent me this because I had to get the audio, and I still am dumbfounded. I was like, this can't be real.
It can't be real, but it is.
Had to get butt cracked.
It is actually real. I thought about saving it for the Magic Hat, and it's caught wildfire at this point, so by Thursday it'll be kind of old news.
This would take over.
We need to get to this now.
So
at some point we will get to it.
This is something that's right up Sprague's alley,
yes.
Sprague. So
yes, we'll talk about that. What the news story is, I'll tell you what that is coming up here in a bit. We will get to the Blazer game. They won last night. For anybody who was watching, they beat the Nets, who are tanking. I got some football stuff in the notes. Somebody makes their return today. It's a loaded little Tuesday. Thanks for being with us and hanging out. Sprague out all week, but Dirt's here, Swag's here, and we'll have some fun. We'll start with comments that I heard last night that didn't quite make sense. Now make a little bit more sense. We'll explain, tell you what it is, and start the show there next on The Fan. Shout out to all of our P1s and Tigard this morning. We love our good Tigard listeners. They're out there. We know you're listening, Tigard. Good morning. How's the traffic in Tigard this morning? Is it okay? Light traffic this morning? Good. Look at Tigard getting to work on time. All right. Your days are off to a good start.
It's an Odyssey station.
I mean, if you're recording those traffic bits, shouldn't that be the first thing that you do? Let's look up how do we pronounce things and make sure that it acclimates to the local market that you're playing.
It's a rotating cast of characters. Yes, I think that facility's down in Arizona somewhere.
I believe that it is.
As we peek behind the curtain.
There's a man behind the curtain making this all work. So yesterday in the sports world, the NCAA tournament going on the ladies' side. Not a lot going.
No, it was a lot of blowouts. Yeah, all 3 1 seeds just rolling their opponents. That the Virginia double overtime upset of Iowa was really the big drama.
So you had one game that kind of went down to the wire, but every other game was a bit of a blowout. So I wasn't watching a ton of it yesterday, but keep an eye. Blazer game last night. But then I see this last night, and I had an initial reaction of, that's an interesting thing to complain about. All right, just because you can't beat them, that's weird. But now that I know, because we talked about this before the show, there's a little more context. So I'm going to play this for you. You've probably never heard of her. Her name is Felicia Leggett-Jack. Am I saying that right? Okay, she is the head coach of Syracuse.
She's been a women's college basketball head coach for a long time.
Okay, so a long time. She's been at Syracuse for a while, and they played UConn yesterday. The final score of the game against UConn, it was a home game for UConn because that's how the ladies' tournament begins, on home sites. They lost 98-45. The game at the end of the first quarter was 33-8, and at halftime, it was 65-12. I'm going to go ahead and say that again. Halftime,
I know.
It was 65.
UConn's a wagon.
To 12. And that was my thought. And so the Syracuse coach comes out after the game and says this.
To continuously have to come to UConn and every single school that I go to, from Buffalo to is unfair to the young people. I don't know what it is. Somebody said, is there something that they might have against me? If that's the case, then we need to communicate about that. But for us to be what we've done in our body of work, to have to come and play the best team in the country, I thought deserved a little more respect after being in this business for 37 years, and to have to come and be in this particular bracket every freaking year is unacceptable. It's wrong. If you're on the committee and you've been around for more than a year or 2 or 5 to 10 or 15 years, you understand what that looks like. I've been on those committees to see how it's done, how you can put people on different lines, put us on a 10 line, get whatever. But for us to continue to come to Connecticut year after year after year is, to me, it's a personal attack.
So I see this last night, and I'm just like rolling my eyes, like, all right. So they've lost 4 years in a row. They've lost 4 years in a row, I believe. I read, to UConn in the tournament, like 4 consecutive years they've gone to UConn, because UConn's always a high seed.
It's not quite that, but it's like 3 or 4 or something like that.
So it's been a normal thing for them to go to UConn and get their teeth kicked in, and then their season ends. So I'm just thinking to myself, when I hear the rant, I think, all right, I get the frustration of having to play UConn, but if you go to another region or another set, like Texas just beat my team by 50.
Yeah.
What is South Carolina doing to everybody in the tournament?
They killed USC.
You go through the list of teams who are hosting. Like, no matter where you go, Syracuse, this is going to be your fate.
So she coached at Buffalo for a long time. She's been at Syracuse now for a few years. So she's been stuck in that.
She can't get out of it.
Northern New York, New England-ish. Yeah.
And so that was my thought of, like, that's a dumb thing to complain about.
I was like, okay, is this? But yeah,
there's more context to it, though.
Her teams have played UConn an inordinate amount of times in the tournament. And I can understand how being in that bubble, like, you don't understand how much of a bubble when you're a part of a college team, like you're in a little bubble, especially during the season.
Yes. Your little hub, you're traveling around.
You're traveling around. You're, all together all the time. You don't get Christmas break when the rest of the, school shuts down for a month. They're in a bubble.
Yes.
And so groupthink can take over.
It absolutely can. But as we're going through what she's saying, I'm rolling my eyes. But the context that was added that I didn't realize was that when they send teams to the NCAA tournament in the women's bracket, and you pointed this out before the show, that there is a certain mileage number that if they fly over that mileage
if you have
number,
to travel over, it's like 350 or 400 miles.
The NCAA has to pick up the
hook
flight
for a charter flight.
They have to pick up the cost. And so, where is Syracuse? Where is UConn?
Exactly.
Where are you going to go play every year in the tournament so we don't have to pick up the cost? You're going to the same place every year, unless you play your way into being a higher seed, or you're maybe you're the 1 seed one year and teams are coming to you. That could be the case as well. And it was just, I was reminded of the story. How many years ago was it that we had was it the COVID tournament where they had the weight room and it went viral on the women's side?
And it was one of the Ducks players. I forget who it was who had the video of it.
Thanks, guys, for a great weight room this year. You're really taking care of us. And now that you know the context of the story, we all know why Syracuse is always playing UConn. It's because the NCAA doesn't want to pay for a flight to send them to another pocket of the country. And so I could see how it would be demoralizing. Like, at least give me a new team to kick my teeth in.
And I think that's part of it when she talks about the experience of, I got to go twice with the Pilot women. One time to Pauley Pavilion, one time out to Kansas State.
Those are very different places.
And it's the experience of going and being in that environment, and now you're taking a bus trip
just down to a team that you already play
for the third time in 4 years.
Right. Yeah, imagine being a senior on that team who stayed, and that's the way your season ended in 3 of the 4 years. So, you're playing UConn. I get the gripe.
She was a little over dramatic in her. But yes, she actually does have a legitimate gripe with the NCAA being cheap here.
They absolutely are cheap.
So send them down to South
billions
Carolina.
of dollars
send
on
them
the
to
tournament.
Duke. Send them to,
let them get on a flight to another part of the country for a day.
That's fine.
Yeah, it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because nobody really isn't it about competition. And
I know
it is. It certainly
was a
is.
little reality TV show there for a little bit, but but I wouldn't roll your eyes too much. It's like the NCAA could.
This is their fault for being cheap and not wanting to send teams out of their region because then they don't have to pay for the flight. So in a shocking development, the NCAA not caring about the women's tournament and taking the easy road out and the cheaper road out. Yeah. What company could possibly do that? So that was getting everybody all hot and bothered last night. Let's get to a story that I referenced in the opening segment, and that is the idea of the NBA and where the salary cap is going. This will impact the Blazers a little bit. It's not that big of a difference, but I'm wondering, the overall trend, is it concerning to you? And will the move the NBA is making that financially will help our new owners, will it actually help the league? Because this is a concern that I've had. And we'll dive into that coming up next. But first, here's Swag with SportsCenter.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Toumani Camara, a career night against the Nets. He hit a career-high 9 threes and 35 points, leading the Blazers to a 134-99 rout of Brooklyn. They stay a half game behind the Clippers for the 8th spot in the West. Portland will host the equally awful Bucks, who got housed by L.A. on Wednesday. Teams exiting the NCAA tournament means the college basketball coaching carousel winds up. Randy Bennett, after decades at St. Mary's, is leaving for Arizona State to replace Bobby Hurley. Cincinnati is set to hire Utah State's Jared Calhoun, according to reports. Calhoun started his career as a graduate assistant for Bob Huggins with the Bearcats. As the Major League Baseball season is set to begin Wednesday, Cubs reportedly finalizing a contract extension with Gold Glove center fielder Pete Crow Armstrong. And the 20th ranked Oregon Ducks baseball team begins a 5-game California road trip this evening against the Titans of UC San Diego. First pitch 6 p.m. Pre-game coverage at 5:45 on 910 ESPN Portland. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart for the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the firm.
A news story that is just too good to believe. We'll get to that at some point. Somebody is making their return. That needs to be discussed because, it's a certain somebody that has to be talked about. Don't you poo-poo this. Don't you poop on my dreams, Swigard. News came out of the league yesterday, though, in the NBA. And I thought this was interesting and kind of a bigger conversation that can happen around the sport. So I opened the show talking about, last night in sports, Swag's watching spring training baseball. People are making fun of you for watching a spring training game, but not Game 7 of the World Series. You're never going to live that down. And I mentioned the Nets game is on. So I'm watching the Blazers and Nets, and how did it go? Exactly how we all thought it was going to go. Like the Nets
came out. They hit a couple of jumpers. We were going around, but eventually,
they're not losing that game. They're actively trying to lose. The Pacers, I believe, have lost 16 in a row, and I think the Wizards have lost 16 in a row.
No, the Pacers ended their streak.
Oh, did they win last night? Okay,
they got a win last night.
That was the first game the Pacers have won since the All-Star break. They were winless after the All-Star break.
Let me double check. Okay, but I thought I was watching some highlights, and
they got a dub. They finally broke through and got a dub. So that's just kind of like there's a lot of teams like that in the NBA. The Blazers are going to play a chunk of them.
The Bucks rolled over.
Oh, they don't want to win. Like that's their math is.
Yeah, the Pacers beat the Magic 128-126.
Okay,
Siakam had 37,
ending a 16-game losing streak. Congrats to the Pacers. Welcome back to the win column.
16-56 on the year.
And the NBA announced yesterday that they have informed teams that the projected $165 million salary cap for next season. The tax level is 201. First apron is 209. Second apron 222, and the salary floor is $149 million. And that's like, okay, you might just hear those numbers and think, all right, whatever. It came in, and they've been projecting this. They always look at league revenues and where do we think it'll go in years to come. And it came in lower than previous outlooks had pointed to. Not by a lot, but by about $1 million.
So it's lower than the projection?
Lower than what the projection was.
But it's still going up?
It's still going up.
Okay.
The increased percentage of this was just about, right about 6% in an increase in total salary cap. It can only rise, and I was interested in this. I was just reading through it yesterday. It can only rise by a maximum of 10% every year. They've capped it.
Yeah.
Just in case you have, like, 2016 was this, and thank you, Neil Olshey, for spending all your money on Evan Turner. And there was this huge spike because of the league TV deals that were cashing in, and they had this massive spike. So all of a sudden, these teams had, oh my God, what do we do with all this money?
Yeah.
And we blew ours on Evan Turner.
Nice.
Yes, and drafted Zach Collins instead of Bam Adebayo. Being a Blazer fan's a lot of fun. Anywho, they've capped it because of the 2016 year, and so you can't have more than a 10% increase. But those involved in league circles have been behind the scenes, especially since they signed their, $7 billion national TV deals.
Yeah, is this the first year of that?
This is the first year of that. They have basically told league sources and insiders that there's 10% increase every year. Our revenues are going in the right direction. It will be a 10% increase every year. And if it could go higher, it could go higher, but we have to cap it at 10% because that's in the CBA. Well, they only got a 6% increase. And the reason they only got a 6% increase is because the reduction in local media revenue is hitting the NBA significantly hard. Now, we're not involved in this. We had a listener texting in earlier, and I take him at his word, saying that our local TV ratings are up. Now, that doesn't necessarily generate revenue.
But I don't know what the value is worth.
Right, exactly. So maybe more people are buying Blazer Vision, and that leads to our revenue going up. I don't know where our local revenue is. Viewership
but
or
our
revenue.
revenue in terms of the total piece of the pie can't be what the Lakers and the Knicks and
no, of course not. It's nowhere close to some of the bigger markets and the local TV deals that they've signed. And if the ratings are up, that could mean revenues will go up in years to come because you can point to and you say, all right, look at all these, maybe we charge a little bit more, maybe our channels are more available. Like that all can change in the years to come.
Playoff series.
Maybe do something relevant for the first time in a decade. That would be nice, right? But it got me thinking with the idea of Brooklyn in town last night because I have this. Like I watched a chunk of the game. I turned it off at halftime because I'm show prepping and they're up by 20. And Brooklyn's not like there's no point in watching the second half of that game. There's nothing that we'll talk about, nothing that we'll take away.
It was just on my second screen.
It's on your TV, right? If you want to watch it. And there's a lot of teams that are that way in the league, and there are every single year. There's a chunk at the bottom of the league that just is it's an unwatchable product. Now, I don't criticize the teams for doing it. And in fact, I would have argued maybe we'd be in a better spot right now had we done it the way we were supposed to do it. And now we're coming out the other end without actually fully tanking and leaning into it and only getting as high as the third overall pick. So I don't criticize the teams because I understand the strategy and the merit behind it. I'm just wondering what this does because the NBA is in a unique spot where there's a lot of this negative conversation about it. The local revenue is down across the league, and this is a problem that's going to hit Major League Baseball as well, because we've gone through how many teams now? The Mariners are this way, where it's now Major League Baseball controlled. The Braves had to come out with their own thing. Like, I'm just like the sports that are longer seasons that have these local TV deals. I don't know where that revenue is going to go, and I think eventually we're going to get to the majority of them being on some sort of platform a la MLB at Bat or the Blazer Vision. Like, that to me is the direction we're going.
Is if they just get rid of the stupid local blackout.
Local blackouts would help a ton, and far more people would watch the games, and you would have access to more games that you could possibly watch.
I still don't know what that rule who that protects. It certainly doesn't protect the fan. It
used to be in place because of the cable TV deals that if you had a guy who let's just use Seattle as an example.
The blackout rule was in place before cable TV.
Sure, no doubt about it. That was my only guess of modern time, where if I'm a Major League Baseball team and I have a local TV deal, let's say with Root Sports, I don't want you to be able to circumvent that because I'm not getting as much money, I would assume, from your at-bat subscription than I would be from your cable subscription of buying Root. But I'm just guessing on that.
I'm just thinking you could get more for the advertising knowing that it's going out all across the country.
Right, and that more people have eyes on your game, and it's better for your product. The more people can watch your games, the more accessible it is.
I'm going to pay whatever that rate is to get full season access to everything, then you should get access to everything. That circumvents or supersedes whatever other things, even the exclusive games on Apple TV and Netflix and all that stuff. I go to one spot, I can go here, and
right there.
I am paying for the season, so if that goes up a little bit,
whatever,
fine.
Another $4.
And then I don't have to worry about it.
It's just right there. It's accessible.
I can go watch any damn game.
You don't have to jump through hoops.
Yeah. And I don't have to jump through hoops and go to different platforms. That's where they need to get to protect the fan. Then price it appropriately.
Yes.
Because those people are willing to pay for it.
Yes.
We don't mind. It was like, okay, as long as
I'm a diehard fan, I want to watch my team.
The Sunday ticket's getting a little egregious, and the market will determine what that is.
Right.
But for baseball, I think my renewal was $150.
Yeah,
and when you think about it, even if you're just watching your team,
right, which is what I largely
watch 150 games.
Yeah, it's on every day.
It's $1 a game.
It's entertainment.
It's a pretty good value
every single day. And so the NBA is going through this, and they're adding 2 more teams. We all know that's going to happen. Now, financially, that's going to help the Blazers because you're going to get some of that money that comes in from the expansion teams. I'm going to throw out some teams. There's 30 teams right now in the NBA.
Correct.
Okay? Are you interested in watching a game involving these teams right now? Indiana.
No.
Washington.
No.
Brooklyn.
No.
Last night. Sacramento.
No.
Utah.
Maybe.
Okay. So that's a maybe. We're at 4.5.
When they get everybody healthy.
Sure, I'm saying right now. Yeah, they're sitting guys right now. But as of right now, the answer is no. Dallas, you could say Cooper Flag. Yes. He played last night. Okay, so I'll give you that. Memphis?
No.
Okay, you're up to 6. New Orleans?
No.
Chicago?
No.
Milwaukee?
No.
So we're already up to 9 teams, 9.5. That's a third of your league right now that I would argue is unwatchable. Yeah. And the idea of adding 2 more teams to that mix, to me, it's a foolish errand by the NBA because until you solve this problem, and maybe they feel like they can internally. I also don't think Adam Silver has the balls to go with the owners, and I don't think he has a lot of control. And so maybe I end up being wrong on that take, and they find a way to solve this conundrum where a third of your league every year, and baseball goes through the same problem where everybody's hope springs eternal, and we got opening day tomorrow and then Thursday, and then by the time you look up in June, you got a dozen teams that are just, and they come to town, and you're like, I've never heard of half of these guys. The only time you watch them all year is when they play your team and then they head out of town and you never see them or hear from them again. And they win 72 games and it's a bad product that people aren't tuning into. When you have that long of a season and that percentage of your league that I would argue is in a category of I have no interest at all in watching a second of your games, that's a problem for the local TV markets that they're going to have to go through. And so this is something that I'm just filing away for years to come to track because you get a revised number every year and revenues go up and they go down. And so maybe next year this story comes out in the end of March and they say the 27-28 salary cap's a 10% increase. Look at all this money come in. Things are great. But when projections are overshooting what the number actually ends up being, and I don't see the local TV money increasing anytime soon, And so the $7 billion national TV deal is keeping everybody afloat. Yeah. But these local TV deals are cratering. And financially, they're just not what they used to be because of the changing landscape of sports and the changing landscape of entertainment and television. Back in the day, you'd have, if you were a Blazer fan, what percentage of Blazer fans could get them on Comcast Sportsnet when they would play? And then you'd play 20 or so games on NBC, and it was accessible. And outside of DirecTV users, almost everybody had access to be able to watch it. It's not quite the case anymore. Teams are trying to find a way to circumvent that into the modern world of technology, but just wanted to file away. I don't love the idea. I certainly think Seattle deserves a team. Vegas, whatever, dude. Vegas doesn't need another sports team. They're getting the A's. They're not going to care about them.
Well,
the Knights have been great.
Even number of teams.
You have to do too. I get it. I just would have been a much stronger proponent of saying, let's move Memphis to Vegas and let's move New Orleans to Seattle and change the names, and there you go, and you're going to be fine. But we'll see how it works out long-term in the NBA. Salary cap projections, overshooting what the number actually ends up being for next year. Not a huge impact on $1 million difference, not that big of a deal. So not a huge difference, but still something to file away and monitor for the NBA in the years to come. Somebody is making their return tonight. Also, why do we keep messing with this classic? We'll get to that coming up next on The Fan.
The new home.
Well, I meant to get to a news story that was too good to be true, but I want to. It deserves more time than I can give it right here, so we'll save that. There's audio to go with it. Don't you worry. Welcome back in, everybody. Happy Tuesday morning. Dirt and Swag with you here today. Now, let me ask you this, Swag. Are you still a big one shining moment guy?
Yeah.
It still resonates with you? Still gets you?
Still nostalgia.
End of the tournament, one shining moment.
I mean, I need to see what was his name? Chase Johnston, his layup for High Point.
Yeah, that's a good one that'll be in there.
So that'll be in there.
I mean, the game winners, the near miss from Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you relive the moment. And correct me if I'm wrong, every year, the rendition of One Shining Moment is the same, or have they changed it?
No, it changed over the years. And then they got a whole bunch of flack
for
that
changing
it wasn't Luther.
Right, because Luther
and they finally went back to Luther.
Okay. So
I think Jennifer Hudson did one.
What are we doing, people? What are we doing? When you have a classic.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. But yes, after
the backlash led back to Luther.
And they said, no, it's Luther. And by the way, Luther did not write the song. I forget who wrote the song.
Okay, somebody else wrote it.
Somebody wrote it, but Luther then did it. And yeah, that's his.
That's his song.
Screwing it up.
Right? Luther, by the way, side tangent, underutilized name. We need more Luthers out there. What happened to Luther? Let's bring it back.
Well, now we know what your second boy is going to be named.
Luther Johnson. That's not bad. I don't know if the wife would go for it, but I'd be down. There's another sport where this is happening, and I'm hoping the backlash gets to the point that it got to in the NCAA tournament, because like you sitting around at the end of the tournament and you're watching One Shining Moment, it's the thing you look forward to every year. One of the most exciting times of the year for me is when I start to get my little crumbs, my little nibbles.
That's right.
On television.
Usually the NFL playoffs is when it
begins, and then it gets more and more and more. Yes. And that is that the Masters.
The tournament now, it's all over the place.
Yes, the Masters is a couple of weeks away. And they just announced the app. The app is live. You can go download it. Don't worry, I already did. And
did you order your spread?
I did order the food, too. Okay. The food's ordered, and the app is downloaded. We're ready to go. The flag's hanging on the house. We're dialed, okay? It's a couple of weeks away right when I get back from Hawaii. And the ESPN will put out an ad every year because ESPN hosts the Thursday and Friday.
They have the Par 3 tournament and early round coverage on Thursday and Friday.
And they put out their own little promos every year with a song. A song that is one of the most, I would argue, recognizable songs ever recorded, that almost everybody with ears should be able to tell you who sang the song.
An American treasure.
And yet every single year they find a new artist. And this year, once again, not Ray Charles.
Georgia, the whole day through.
Now,
it's not bad, but it ain't Ray Charles.
I understand.
They did. It was Neil Kahn. Is that who they had last year? And everybody's like, what is this?
This is at least somebody I've heard of.
You've heard of Thomas Rhett?
I've heard the name.
You've heard of Thomas Rhett?
Yeah.
What? Wait, hold on. That deserves... was he a host on a show or something? How have you heard of Thomas Rhett?
Well, listen, I
don't even listen to Thomas Rhett. I like country music. Yeah.
So I did watch The Voice.
Okay.
So and
Blake Shelton was always on there, right?
When Shelton was on there, and Reva's been on there, so there is a lot of country, and so songs from so and so, and the names thrown out. So I understand he is a country artist.
He is a country artist.
Could not tell you a song of his.
Well, he's doing a cover of Georgia on My Mind.
He's doing a cover of that.
For ESPN's Masters.
So the only thing that comes to mind is there's some.
There's none. I read into it.
Oh, okay.
I read into it because I asked the same question of why would you do
trademark thing?
Nothing at all.
Did the Ray Charles estate say we don't want to be associated with them anymore for particular reasons? I have no idea.
I don't remember the first year ESPN started the Thursday, Friday coverage, but it's been going on for a long time now. It's been
going on for at least a decade.
Right, and Van Pelt's always down there, and Andy North, and they do a great job. And the Par 3 contests, and you get all the different hosts and people walking around. I have no issues with their coverage. The only issue I have is with this, because for the first however many years they had it, it was always Ray Charles every year. And you would hear the song, and it would come on. They show the drive down Magnolia Lane, and you're like, okay, here we go. And then for the last handful of years, they've gone with cover renditions for whatever reason. And this is a really dumb thing to get upset about. But I saw this last night, and I thought to myself, Thomas Rhett? I like country music. Luke Combs came out with a new CD this week. I'm digging it. Thomas Rhett instead of Ray Charles? What are we doing? We're pissing on royalty. It's ridiculous. So let's all bowl ESPN back into using Ray Charles the way the NCAA tournament did with Luther Vandross and One Shining Moment. That leads me to the news of the night, of what we'll be watching on sports tonight. I know. Hey, roll your eyes at it all you want. The reason I bring it up is because it points to there being a chance of something happening. And that is now. I haven't watched a second of it this year, so I don't want people to think that I've been glued to it. And I'm not against it.
That's Roper.
He's a big Tiger Golf League guy, or TGL League.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like big things on. That's what they're watching during the show.
TGL every Friday.
Well, no, I think it's usually on Monday or Tuesday.
That's what it is, right? It's the TGL. Is that
yeah,
what it
it's
is?
the TGL.
Okay.
And then. Yeah, Mondays and Tuesdays during the shows is usually when it's on. So
yes.
He's like got it dialed.
He's always got
glued.
it up and on. There's nothing else on TV tonight for me that I'm interested in. I haven't looked at the full national slate, but Tiger Woods is playing golf tonight for the first time.
15-game slate in the NHL.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm watching Tiger Woods. I'm sorry.
The Kraken are at the Panthers. They need two damn points desperately. They are sliding.
Can I give you actually, I don't know where that drop is.
No.
Oh, here it is.
No one cares!
I'm going to give you one of those. And you can fire this one right back at me.
No one cares!
I will be watching Tiger Woods play simulator golf tonight. His first action back on the course.
Yeah,
not a course, but it's a simulator.
And,
I guess it's their
Tom
finals.
Kim.
I didn't know.
Yeah, this is the final. So it's a two-match sort of thing. They're taking on LA Golf. I don't know who's with LA Golf.
I have no idea.
Homa's not with LA Golf. I don't
Doesn't make
understand
any sense.
He's an LA guy.
He's always been an LA guy. I don't get it at all, and I don't care. Tiger Woods is playing tonight, and that means that there's a decent chance that he might play at the Masters, and he's hinted at playing in the Masters in a couple of weeks.
I know he wants to.
And now we see him tee it up.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just...
I mean, you're probably more in the norm of this take. There's a mystique about the cat every time he tees it up that'll get me curious and want to watch. I know he's never going to win again.
I'm curious.
I know that the career's over, but I just watching him play golf. It's one of those, like, and I poo-pooed takes like this in other sports. Sprague did this with, like Brady at the end. I just want to appreciate greatness. I'm like, I'm so tired of him. Make him go away. And so I'm on the other side of this argument. I grant you that. There's anytime I get a chance to watch him tee it up, I'm going to take that chance because he's one of the greatest golfers, if not the greatest of all time. And he still is the needle of the sport, and it's remarkable.
No, I understand that.
However many years later, he hasn't been competitive in a half of a decade. Yeah. He's been through however many surgeries. He's still the needle.
I was convinced, and then I heard a couple of press conferences recently. I think he spoke when he was hosting his Hero thing and something, or the Genesis.
Genesis, yeah, he was in the booth.
I was convinced. It's like he's never gonna show up at a Champions Tour.
I think he's going to. I think he's got that juice.
He is.
He's also somebody who understands.
I could see him playing in the U.S. Senior Open and the Senior PGA.
Play the majors and play a couple of senior events, and then maybe one or two others.
I thought no, he would rather. But apparently,
I think he's taken on an understanding.
Would give that thing some juice than him.
That's it.
Playing
That's it. Exactly. Like
the Chubb Classic or whatever.
He understands, I think, his importance in role and continuing to push the game forward. Like he's taken on the leadership role and remapping how the slate will look next summer. So he's kind of evolved in that landscape. Because I'm with you. I would have said the same thing 4 or 5 years ago. But I think he knows his lot in life at this point, and that's one of them. And he would drive. How many people would go see a senior tour event?
I think he's also boys with a lot of those guys.
Yeah, Freddie Couples is out there. Go hang out with them,
Stuart
man.
Sink, Ernie Els.
He played with him forever. And so go tee it up, go beat him. Zach Johnson, he's good buddies with Zach Johnson, who's up there now. So Tiger Woods is playing golf tonight. That's what I'll be watching. And please, for the love of God, ESPN, give us Ray Charles again. This is not complicated. It's one of the all-time great songs. Lots to get to in hour number 2. A news story so crazy that I couldn't believe it. We got audio to go with it as well. I got some college football stuff in the notes. We got the mail sack coming up in the final hour. Get your questions in, 503-864-6326. Loaded hour number 2 next on the Fan Sports Network.
105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the Blazers took advantage of the crappy Nets. Toumani Camara had a career night. 9 threes, 35 points, and the Blazers rout Brooklyn 134-99. They're still a half game behind the Clippers for the 8th spot in the West. LA housed the Milwaukee Bucks, who will be visiting Moda Center Wednesday. That's next up for Portland. The college basketball coaching carousel winding up as the NCAA tournament whittles down. Randy Bennett, after 2+ decades at St. Mary's, headed to Arizona State on a 5-year deal to replace Bobby Hurley. Cincinnati going to hire Utah State's Jared Calhoun, according to numerous reports. Calhoun began his coaching career as a graduate assistant for Bob Huggins with the Bearcats. 20th ranked Oregon Ducks baseball team is in California all week. They start a 5-game trip tonight against the Tritons of UC San Diego. First pitch at 6 p.m. We'll have pregame coverage on 910 ESPN Portland starting at 5:45. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube.
Hey, welcome back in. Hour number 2. Dirt and Sprague here, Portland Sports Leader, 105.1 FM, The Fan, 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube.
Shout out the Hoggies.
Love you guys. It's called the Fan Sports Network. Hope your Tuesdays are off to a great start. The traffic isn't too bad in Tigard at this point in the morning. Hopefully it's nice and light. Everybody getting to work on time. Got some rain coming to town.
My wife informed me she slept in a little extra on Monday.
Uh-huh.
Didn't matter.
Did not matter.
Yeah. Because she usually goes in, normal rush hour time.
Yeah, when you're driving in the normal heat.
7:30 range, and you can get stuck on 20.
Nah. Not this week.
Not a concern this
Things
week.
a little bit lighter around everybody's offices, which, hey, I don't blame them, man. Hang out with your kiddos. Everybody's off for the week, and hopefully everybody's doing something fun. Maybe you're getting out of town. Looks like we got nice weather coming in town later in the week. We got a little bit of rain.
Might be a little scratchy this afternoon.
Yeah, and you got Thursday, Friday warming up. Saturday, Sunday should be nice, and then rain returns just in time for me to get on a bird and fly to Hawaii, which if it was going to be nice here for a week, I would have been livid.
Stopped storming and raining in Hawaii? That's the bigger concern because it was nasty over there for a while.
It's been really bad. Yeah, the last I checked, forecast had a shower here or there, but that's normal for Hawaii, where you get the little
shower
for 20 minutes.
Half hour, it blows through, and there you go.
And highs are in the mid to upper 70s with mostly sunshine. Just all you can ask for, man. There's nothing worse than the idea of going on a tropical vacation. I got an in-law who was just in Hawaii last week.
And it's extra tropical?
And it's just, oh my God, it just like rainstorm after rainstorm. And then if you add the double whammy of if we get nice weather here on top of it, so you're flying away from what you perceive to be bad weather to go to nice weather.
You don't want it to be horrible here, but if it's,
I'm not going to lie, I'm selfish. I do. I want it to be miserable here.
You just want it to be, like if it was 50s and overcast.
Yeah, it's not great, right? I'll take 70 and sunny over that any day.
Yeah.
But landing there and it's a rainstorm. Back here
with a nice ocean breeze.
God, I'd be playing golf every day. Why did I not go now? So that's what my week looks like. A little bit of rain coming into town. Today, I have a fun question I'm going to ask. A listener just asked a unbelievable mail sack question. So we'll holster it. We'll get to it in the final hour of the show. Your questions are welcome. 503
The sack probably flow us over today. We'll most of the final hour will be sack.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of sack. A lot of sack in the final hour. That's the way we're going to operate. I want to start every time this article comes out at this point in the season, I read it, and I'm always curious, how did it work out last year, and how do we think it'll translate this year? And the article I'm talking about comes from our wonderful friend at ESPN, Bill Connolly, the man behind the SP Plus model. And he came out with his annual returning production breakdown in all of college football. This man is such a nerd, and that's why he's so near and dear to my heart.
That's why we love him.
Because he ranks, you guessed it, all 138 FBS football programs. Adding North Dakota State to the mix. Welcome.
That's true.
To the Bison.
Welcome to the Bison.
Welcome to the Bison. And goes through one through 138, ranking returning production. Now, I had to dig through this a little bit because there's so many guys who are in the portal. Like the portal rate and the transfer rate has increased exponentially. And it has actually led, when you read through Connolly's breakdown of this, it's led to him adjusting the way that he calculates returning production. Oh. And so he now counts, if you were putting up certain numbers at a school last year and then you transfer to a new school, he is now folding that into your returning production line.
Is it only Division I schools?
If you go from FCS up, he discounts it at about a 50% rate. So you don't get the full account of your returning production. It's a great question. So some of the guys who come from lower levels to upper levels,
it's like, you rush
he gives you half
1,200 or 1,200 yards in the Big Sky.
Right.
Give you 700.
Exactly, and that's folded into your returning production. And some of the numbers in this are really interesting. So for those who forget last year, basically, it was about an 80% accurate rate of the teams near the top of the list going on to have better seasons than they did the year before. Now, the teams that slipped through the cracks, one of them is going to be obvious because we all stepped on the banana peel with this team. The number one team in the country, a year ago at this date, we were talking about returning production. Look what they're bringing back. Number one in the country was the Clemson Tigers. They had just been in the playoff. They had just won 10 games. They went to 7-6 the next year. And so they just, for whatever reason, it did not click for them. Coaching, stagnation, not developing guys. I don't know what the hell went wrong at Clemson, but something went wrong because they returned a lot of players from a good team, and it did not translate to wins. However, the rest of the top 10, when you look, Texas Tech was number 6 on the list of returning production. Not bad, right? Kennesaw State, that's kind of a random team, but they did drastically improve. Vanderbilt went from they're a fun little story, to winning 10 games and being in the mix for the playoff. Oklahoma went from his Venables going to get fired to making the playoff. A&M went from, not a bad first year, to hosting a college football playoff game. So there was really, the Clemson was the big outlier. Baylor was also in the top 10, and they didn't go on to have the season that many people thought they would. So it's a decent clip of teams who are returning a high level of production are going to usually improve on their year from a year ago. Some interesting numbers in this, and I'll start digging through and give you some team numbers. But if you're wondering the ones to circle near the top of the list of, maybe you're looking at an over-under bet. This doesn't mean these teams are competing for national championships.
Right,
it just means
they will improve upon what they
were
did
last year. The top 5 teams in the country in returning production. Number 1 on this list is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who return a ton outside of Jeremiah Love.
I believe the early lines, they're favored to win every game.
Literally every game. They have a cakewalk schedule. They get Miami at home. That's their one big game, but they get them in South Bend.
If they don't get to the college football playoff,
disaster.
Freeman's got questions. He's got answers.
It's a disaster.
He's got to answer questions.
Notre Dame's at 72% returning production. Yeah. Maryland is number 2. And I was like, what? Maryland? All right, 71%. The majority of it on defense.
All right, fear the turtle.
Number 4 in returning production on defense in the country. Nebraska is number 3 on this list.
Let's go, Matt Rule.
Lost Dylan Raiola, who's wearing number 8 for my football team now, which that puts some weird emotions in my head.
Next in the lineage of great Hawaiian quarterbacks
just
wear the yellow and green.
I'm just glad he's not wearing 15. And if we're going to 8, can we get rid of the cosplay? Can we not do the cosplay anymore? Can that just... You did it.
I thought you would be more offended. He's.
I'm okay with it as long as he's not Patrick Mahomes anymore. You can wear. I will allow you to wear number 8 for the Oregon football program as long as you're not pretending to be another person.
What if he starts copying and mimicking everything like Marcus did?
Everything that Marcus did. If you be the kind of person Marcus was, maybe that'll make you a fan. Nebraska's number 3 on this list. Virginia Tech is number 4. James Franklin going down there. They're turning into a bit of a dark horse in year 1.
It'd be fun to see him resurrect that Hokie program.
Yeah, that's a team that I feel like there's a gap of audience depending on your age. And I think Pate made this argument on his show.
Frank Beamer had that rolling
and
down
they were
there,
dominant on special teams.
Years.
They got to a national championship game.
They played. That was one that was fun because they played a lot of Thursday night games on ESPN.
Always, and the place was rocking.
Enter Sandman and Lee Corso's rental car catches on fire and all sorts of stuff.
Yes,
that place.
I need them good again. Virginia Tech's one of those teams that I want to be relevant.
Because if they were on a Thursday night playing Miami or something there, like I would too. That was awesome.
If I could get a non-conference game that's not in probably my top 2 or 3 for a trip to make as an Oregon fan, Virginia Tech's in my top 5.
Oh, yeah.
Like going there for a night game, Enter Sandman playing, top 5, not even close. South Carolina comes in at number 5 on this list. Speak of Beamer. He's going to get fired if they don't have a good year. He's got his quarterback back. They're number 5 on this list.
They better be good.
Some of the other notables in the top 10, Texas is number 6. A lot of Texas, by the way, is transfer additions. They lost a lot of guys, but they went heavy in the portal, especially on the offensive side. It's all on Arch. They added some running backs.
Probably not fair, but it's all on Arch.
He's got to do it. He's likely going to be the number 1 pick in the draft next year. Georgia's number 8. Florida's number 10. And that's when we arrive to the Oregon Ducks. They come in at number 11 on this list. 66% returning for them. They're 26th in the country on offense returning production. They're 11th in the country on defense returning production, which is not a surprise. Their whole D-line's back. Lost some guys in the secondary, but a lot of faces are returning. So it's a good sign to see programs like yours show up in the top 10 or 11. If you're a fan of some of these other teams, I'll give you where you're at. USC is number 13 on this list. The majority of theirs is, they're pretty evenly split on offense and defense.
Quarterback.
Yep, they need new receivers. They're mixing some new guys in. Washington is number 15 on this list. Now, they lost running backs and wide receivers and some secondary guys.
Does he count as a transfer portal guy, or is he the returning quarterback? And are we discounting the stats as a transfer portal guy?
Do we knock off 25% of returning production because you had to get sued by your team to stay on campus?
Call Softy and get a ruling on that.
I'm just glad I've egged you on to making those jokes now, too. Welcome to the club, buddy. They're 15th on the list. Oklahoma 16. Some of the outliers in a negative way on this list, I just wanted to give you some of the local schools. You got to scroll a long ways until you find Oregon State. And now that's not a surprise. They lost their coaching staff, fired everybody, and they got a bunch of new players with 30, 40 new players.
Bad thing.
No, but based on going 2-10, I'd say you want new players. They are 94th on this list, only 47% returning production. If you're looking for big schools of circle it. What does that mean? Alabama's 90th on this list and a massive year for Kalen DeBoer. They are 119th in the country in returning production on offense. Their defense is largely intact. Didn't get decimated. Yeah. Offensively, they lost almost everybody. And so offense will be a big question mark for them. And then the other one that has changed the way we view the sport, and I have said this a million times, I think one of the most interesting storylines to me of the next year, not a universal, not a unique take, it's pretty universal, but what does Indiana do to follow it up? It blew all of our minds to see them win a title.
But half their roster was like 23, 24 years old.
The average age is almost the age of the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. They are 52nd on this list behind teams like Texas State and Cincinnati and Liberty. And so their returning production, especially on the offensive side of the ball, they were decimated by guys leaving. Their receivers, their quarterback, their running backs, all offensive linemen, all of them are bolting to go to the NFL because they won the national title, and some of them were in college for 6 years. Of just, what is Indiana in years to come? Is it a blip on the radar? I don't doubt that the floor of the program has risen significantly. But are we talking about the kind of team who can compete for national titles year in and year out? Or was it truly one of those, the stars aligned, everything was perfect, the right pieces, you got it all, and now they're going to go back to being a 8-4, 9-3 kind of team consistently, where they're better than they've ever been, but not quite to that high level. So I was curious where Indiana was going to show up. They were super high on this list last year in returning production. They're 52nd on the list. If you're wondering where the averages have gone, last note on this, in the last handful of years, 2021's not a good example because it was coming off of COVID and everybody got one more year of eligibility. But returning production in 2021 was 77%, was the average across college football. The average this year, 53.7%. So the last 5 years, it went from 77 to 62 to 60 to 59 to 53. And that's largely due to transfers and so many guys bolting and leaving every year. And so it's just it's a unique number to keep an eye on. A decent hit rate on these teams who return a good level of production, leading to more wins the following season, but obviously not an accurate study because we all thought Clemson was a lock to win the ACC last year, and they went 7-5. Let's get to a question that was thrown to me in a group chat with some buddies. I saw a mail-sack question that made me think of it. I'm going to throw it at you. We'll get to that coming up next, and then a crazy news story at the bottom of the hour. Back after this, 105.1 FM The Fan. All right, we get to a crazy news story coming up 10 minutes from now. In the world of sports, technically,
it's sports adjacent.
It's ball adjacent. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
It's coming up 10 minutes. Got some NFL over-unders for this hour. Bill Oram at top of the hour. We'll talk to him about everything going on in the sports scene. He's going to join us for 30 minutes coming up from 8 to 8:30. Mail sack in the final hour of the show. A mail sack question sparked my interest to ask this to you, and listeners, you can chime in on this as well. We had this in the group chat, I'd be about a week ago, and I meant to ask it on the air, and then I kind of got lost in the shuffle, and I forgot about it, and I'm going to throw it at you now. Sometimes these random things pop up on social media, and it's fun to think about and play. And some they actually get you kind of roped into an actual debate and argument. And it was basically a graphic that said you can choose one group for the rest of your life to watch. So there's a group A and there's a group B, and in each group there are 4 different events. Now, if you choose one, you cannot watch the other sporting events in the other group. Follow? So there's a group A and there's a group B. Okay? Group A.
Yes.
Come on down. You have the Masters.
Okay.
The Major League Baseball playoffs.
Okay.
College football playoffs. And the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Group B.
Yeah.
NBA playoffs.
Okay.
NFL playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
March Madness. And the World Cup. And when I was debating this, it was a very easy call for me for a few reasons, although there is something that I will desperately miss from one of the groups.
So, and then everything else outside of those.
You can watch everything else, but you got to pick one of these silos, and you can only watch these 4.
Was it just the Masters or all the majors?
Just the Masters in Group A. No other majors are included in this list, so you can watch the other 3 no matter which one you choose. But if you choose Group B, you can't watch the Masters anymore. Now, it was an easy call for me because some of these things, it's like, I'm not a big World Cup guy. If you tell me I can't watch, it's not a big deal. But for some people, it's a massive deal. You were the first person I thought of when we were debating this back and forth because you have serious interest in each group.
I do.
Easy call for me on Group A. The Masters is my favorite sporting event of the year.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup playoffs are taking cocaine and riding a motorcycle without a helmet. College football playoff, my team is hopefully in the mix every single year.
Yes.
Easy pick. And the MLB playoffs are delightful come October.
Exactly.
Easy call for me. The only one that I would sincerely miss from the other group is the NFL playoffs. If you told March Madness, I like. The first 4 days are great.
I watch all the regular season.
You can watch all the regular season games. World Cup, whatever, I wouldn't miss it at all. And the NBA playoffs, whatever.
Exactly.
I'm fine. So it was an easy call for me.
It would be Group A for me.
Group A as well for you?
Push came to shove.
What is the overriding reason for that? Is there one event? Is it the Stanley Cup playoffs, the MLB playoffs?
No, I think it's the combined effort.
The tranche of it,
All of that comes into it. Also, I do have the exemption of should the pilot men or women actually make it to the NCAA tournament, I would be working.
You would have to work it.
And I'd have to do it. So there would be an exemption in there for that purpose.
I will allow that exemption to be made, that clause in your contract of viewing experiences.
Unless the Blazers are ever in significant play in the NBA playoffs would be the only time I would actually lament
not being able to watch him. Because some matchup, we were talking about this off the air earlier. Like some of the matchups will be fun. Like you give me,
and it wouldn't be like
Thunder Nuggets.
It's not like I don't care about those other
things.
Of
course,
yes, it would suck not to watch the Super Bowl and the NFL playoffs. But as a group, as an entire group overall,
as an entire,
I am much more interested in Group A than Group B.
And this led to then the follow-up question on a player who I'm going to ask a question about here because he talked about it last night. If Victor Wembanyama was on the Blazers, would that be enough to get you to choose Group B?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
No.
Interesting. Because I said, as hard as it was for me to say it, because you'd lose out on the Masters and the college football playoff and all that, Stanley Cup playoff, Wemby at this point in his career being on the, like if you're projecting forward of what the next 15 years could look like,
season stuff.
You can, but imagine not being able to see him win a championship.
I understand.
Yeah, right? Will it ever happen? I don't know. I know it won't happen with our current roster iteration, so it's an easy call.
We'll see what happens when Dundon comes in and starts running the show.
Right, you never know. Maybe he gets more aggressive.
The power of the tracksuit.
Easy Group A, the power of the tracksuit. Easy Group A for me. And I was thinking about this because the Wemby stuff keeps popping up. Did you see what he said after the game last night about MVP and how he deserves more recognition for it?
Oh,
so he was asked after the game. They kill who they beat the crap out of somebody.
The crap out of the Heat in Miami.
They played Miami. They scored 140 on him. Wemby, let me pull up.
They're close to 80 at halftime. I had the first half on because nothing else was really going on. All the NCAA women's tournament games were blowouts.
He had, there was a number out there. His fourth or fifth game with 20 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks.
Yeah.
And it's just an insane stat line. Last night,
he's an alien.
Total game last night, 26 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, 4 assists. He was 11 of 22 from the field. All of that in 26 minutes played it. 26 minutes. Yeah. He had a double-double with 5 blocks and 4 assists to go with it. And I think the numbers match, like Tim Duncan did that one year in San Antonio. It was the year that he won the MVP. And I give Wemby a lot of credit because after the game, he was asked about, like, do you deserve more recognition and consideration for the MVP award? And he gave a very lengthy answer of, I hope at the end of the year my body of work shows that I'm deserving of this award.
It wasn't just him puffing his chest. He was like...
He said, "I know I got to get to my game total because I think he's not quite there yet."
Yeah, because he missed a few for whatever
he's been in and out of the lineup at times, and they'll sit him on an occasional back. Like he's dealt with injuries early in his career.
That is a goal. You can tell it's a goal of his.
Which is another reason why I hate him and love him simultaneously. I hate that he's in the Western Conference and he's in San Antonio, and I know what's about to happen to that organization for the next 10 years.
But he has fully embraced trying to achieve elite level greatness.
Yes, he's at 57 games played, so he's got to play 8 of the remaining.
He'll do that.
12.
So unless something significant happens,
he's going to hit the number.
You don't want that to happen because they're going to be in the playoffs. And right now, the matchup in the second round, assuming everybody gets through the first round, would be Spurs and Lakers, and that would be glorious,
awesome, right? And I hate both teams with a passion.
I know,
and I want them to both lose, but I will root for Wemby.
Who are you secretly pulling for?
I have to root for him. I like Wemby so much more than Luka Doncic. It's not even funny. Luka is a crybaby bitch who does not stop complaining. He's fat. He whines all the time. I want nothing to do with Luka Doncic. I understand how talented of a basketball player he is. I don't need to watch him. It's not entertaining for me. He's great offensively. He doesn't do a squat on the other end of the floor, and he complains every time somebody breathes on him. No, thank you. I'm out on that. Victor Wembanyama is a psychotic competitor who dominates the games on both ends of the floor.
And he plays the entire game. He'll make a pass as much as he'll fire off a 3 or... most amazing plays when you watch are when he's scrambling for an offensive rebound and contorts his body to grab it and then seemingly in one step can get to the rim for a dunk.
Yes.
And you're like...
It blows your mind every time you watch him play. It shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be legal. Like, let's kick this guy out of the league. You shouldn't be able to do that.
And then he'll pull up on the break from 30 feet and drill a 3.
He's shooting 35% from 3.
It takes him 2 dribbles to get from one free throw line to the other free throw line.
He's a better three-point shooter than Scoot Henderson.
Yes.
And
Scoot knocked down a couple last night.
That's awesome. In the second half against a team with 4 wins on the season. He's 7'4", and he's a better three-point shooter than our point guard. Like... This is our lot in life, and it's depressing as hell. Yay, 8 seed. All right, how's San Antonio doing? But I think he's 100% right, and I obviously don't have an MVP vote. Breaking news. If I did, I have to admit, I think he would get my vote. Luka's getting a lot of the love lately because of what he's doing on the offensive end, which is he's been dominant. I get it.
Yeah.
He doesn't play a lick of defense. SGA is riding on a team that is just loaded from top to bottom, and not to say that San Antonio's team is bad around
SGA
Victor.
has had to carry more of it this year.
No doubt about it.
J-Dub's been out quite a bit. Hartenstein was out for a while.
No doubt about it. If I just played the game, though, and they would probably still be a playoff
Jokic
team.
is still a freak in his own right.
I mean, Jokic should probably win it every year because if you're talking about taking a guy off of a team, what would they be without him?
Yes.
Right, like you take him off of Denver. If you took 57 games away from San Antonio of not having Wemby in the lineup this year,
they're down with Portland.
They're right there in an 8 seed, maybe or 7 seed. You're not doing squat, and instead you're one of the favorites to win the NBA championship. And so I loved him sticking up for himself and saying, "Man, my body of work will show it at the end of the year."
Yeah,
and it led me to think about that conversation and me saying, if Victor Wembanyama, and it kills me to say it because the Masters is my favorite, college football is my favorite sport. That MLB play or Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, because I look at it from the standpoint of, do I still have enough other stuff going on that satisfies?
Yeah, that you can scratch your itch that you want to watch.
I don't necessarily have one particular thing that if it was taken away,
you would be devastated.
I would be disappointed. I would miss it, but it's not like I would.
You fill your hole in another way.
I'm not going to need psychiatric help.
You don't need to talk to somebody. Somebody said easy Group B. Group A is a bunch of dying sports versus events across the board. Yeah, all right. You think they're all dying, huh? College football's dying.
Major League Baseball is not dying.
Major League Baseball is growing in popularity. The Masters, I think their ratings go up every single year.
Yes.
It's one of the most watched sporting events of the calendar.
Hockey's not dying.
Hockey just kind of is what it is at this point. Like it's not dying, it's not growing. It just kind of hockey is what it is. And it's great for the people who watch it. And for those who don't, nothing against you, but I don't know if any of those sports are actually dying. But I appreciate the take. And a lot of people did like Group B in that category. Victor Wembanyama in a Blazer uniform would get me to switch my vote to be able to watch him in the playoffs for years to come. That guy is an absolute freak. Let's get to a news story that is so crazy. One of the wildest headlines you have ever read. And I'll tell you what it is with audio next. First, your Swag with SportsCenter.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, the Blazers started a 4-game homestand against the bottom feeders of the NBA, and it was time to eat. Nobody feasted more than Toumani Camara, setting career highs with 9 threes and 35 points. It was a 134-99 rout of Brooklyn. Portland a half game behind the Clippers in the 8th spot, who took the Milwaukee Bucks behind the woodshed. And the Bucks will come to Moda Center on Wednesday. The college basketball coaching carousel winding up. Randy Bennett, after 2+ decades at St. Mary's, is heading to Arizona State on a 5-year deal to replace Bobby Hurley. Cincinnati going to hire Utah State's Jared Calhoun. According to reports, Calhoun began his coaching career as a graduate assistant for Bob Huggins with the Bearcats. Major League Baseball season will begin on Wednesday. Cubs reportedly finalizing a contract extension with 24-year-old Gold Glove center fielder Pete Crow Armstrong. 20th-ranked Oregon Ducks baseball team starts a 5-game California road trip tonight against the Tritons of UC San Diego. First pitch 6 p.m., pregame coverage at 5:45 over on 910 ESPN Portland. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of dirt.
A lot of people got to overcome things in life to get to where they want to go, some more so than others. And recently, ESPN had a feature on somebody who has risen to the ranks at the top of their sport, who overcame just some of the most difficult circumstances you can imagine. You ready for this feel-good story? Let's all meet Dayton Weber together via ESPN.
I'm Dayton Weber, and I'm a professional cornhole player. I had gotten a bacterial infection when I was just 10 months old. The infection that got into my arms and legs was called Streptococcus pneumoniae. They had actually given me a 3% chance of living, and the only way that they were able to save me was by getting the infections out of my system. They had to amputate my arms and legs to keep me alive. I'm thankful for the Lord and giving those surgeons the power that He did that day to be able to make such a miracle happen. Inspiration to me is a daily driver. I believe that God put me on this planet for one reason. Everybody's got their reasons for being here, but my reason I feel like is to inspire other people just by me doing my daily task. I want them to have the sense of I can go out there and do anything I put my mind to. If they say, I want to go out and become a pro cornhole player now, I want them to look at me and be like, I can do it. I know I can. Anybody can play, anybody can win.
That's pretty motivating stuff, right? Well, I gotta... headline from Fox 5 DC, a professional cornhole player with no arms and legs has been accused of murder in Charles County. That is a headline that is real. And the story just gets weirder and weirder. So this guy's name is Dayton Weber, and he was on a ESPN feature as one of these feel-good stories.
Yeah.
And they show, because they do their summer Ocho thing where they're showing cornhole on ESPN.
It's actually on ESPN. ESPN News has essentially turned into the Ocho.
They're just the cornhole channel
now.
So
ESPN News is there for overflow play-by-play.
Yes.
Or if one game has gone long, extra overtime, the second one, they'll move it to ESPN News. Other than that,
it's cornhole.
There's a lot of dodgeball and cornhole and...
I'm not opposed to it, right?
Omega Ball. Have you seen Omega Ball?
I've never seen Omega Ball.
It's a round polo field and 3 soccer teams and 3 goals all playing each other at the same time.
Okay, that's incredibly confusing, but I'll watch it for a few minutes. Okay. Why not, right? Well, it comes out yesterday that this dude who was featured on an ESPN thing about his motivational story to become he's a professional cornhole player with no arms and no legs. You might be asking yourself, Dirt, how does that work? Well, I've seen the videos of it.
Yeah, well, he's got partial. I wouldn't say no arms.
No arms is too aggressive.
It's above the elbow.
Slightly above the elbow and slightly above the knee on his leg. So that's kind of, to paint a picture for you. And it goes like how you would imagine. He's down on the ground, and he grabs the cornhole between his elbows or his arms, and he flings it.
Launches himself
into the air and the bag into the air, and he's gotten good enough to be a professional player. I have so many questions out of this.
So many questions. Because
he is, again, a quadruple amputee, a professional cornhole player. He was charged with murder and related offenses in Charles County on March 22nd. It was 2 days ago. He was arrested for the fatal shooting of 27-year-old Broderick Michael Wells. And you might think, okay, he's got no arms and no legs. How does he fire a gun? There's videos online that you can find.
This is right out of Pulp Fiction.
It just it absolutely is. And he grabs the gun between his arms, and then he knows how to use one to kind of holster it against his body, cock the gun, and then I don't know how he fires it because
it just fires the trigger is amazing.
It just shows him shooting, but it doesn't show the actual pulling of the trigger. And I have so many thoughts. Maybe there's ways you can modify it and press. I don't know. I don't know enough about
with the
guns.
Hammer? Can you force the hammer to?
I have no idea. To make it even crazier, it gets worse, and crazier.
It gets darker.
Reportedly in the incident, he was driving a vehicle by himself firing the gun. I would like to again point out that he's a quadruple amputee without arms and legs.
Well, and they have apparatus that you
They do.
I mean, maybe he's got the short round blocks.
Yes, I would imagine he has to have
something. Pedals.
How is he doing all of this and driving a car and firing a gun?
I don't know.
Look, you don't laugh about it because somebody lost their life. It is this headline yesterday went absolute.
I still don't believe. I've seen it. I saw that you sent it all to me.
Yeah, the news stories out there, the articles out.
Made up.
There's no chance this is real.
Made up. This is some Hollywood.
How does a man with no arms and no
something.
legs? It's like what's the Fugitive movie? It's a man with no arms who killed my wife, and they're trying to find
one-armed man.
A one-armed man.
Yeah,
thank
he had
you.
a prosthetic left arm.
And then Naked Gun did a spoof on that. He's got no arms. He's got no legs. He's got no eyes. And Leslie Nielsen did the great spoof on it, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know how the hell you pulled this off. Go watch the videos of you can look this guy up, and that went viral yesterday.
Now, has he been banned from competing in the Cornhole League?
I don't know if Cornhole has responded.
Has the commissioner of the Professional Cornhole League, whatever it's called, come out with a statement yet?
I don't know. One of the witnesses identified in certain charging documents claimed that Weber pulled out a firearm, shot Wells twice in the head during an argument. Said that Weber then pulled the vehicle over, asked the passengers to remove Wells from the car, which they refused. He killed a guy, and then they put the dead body in the car, and he drove off with him. Two witnesses exited the vehicle, flagged down a police officer, and while Weber was driving off of Wells, was still inside the car. They went and found him at about 12:41 a.m. They pulled him over outside of Charlotte Hall, and they discovered it somehow dumped his body on the side of the road. So again, killed a guy, put the body in the car, somehow got the body.
Two eyewitnesses. Man, if this isn't on Court TV, if Court TV still exists.
How does he get the body in the car and then out of the car? And they're claiming he's in the car by himself. And he was driving and pulling the trigger.
Well, if he pulled over, I could see him leveraging and pushing it out of the back door.
You back up to the side of the road, I guess, and just kind of push him
on
out
the side. And if it's angled and there's a ditch right there on a 2-lane highway or something.
Somehow he went. I don't know if there was an altercation of some kind. There's not those details out yet. Where they ended up catching him was he took himself to the hospital to seek treatment after all of this had happened. Maybe hurt himself somehow, and the cops got wind that he was because they had put out info for his name.
Yeah.
And they found out he was at the hospital, and they showed up at the hospital.
That would be hard to miss if I'm an attending at the ER Bay.
I would tend to agree with you there. So a headline that is one of the wildest. It went viral. This Fox 5 DC, whoever runs their social media channel, who got a hold of this story, deserves a pay raise because it just reads, a professional cornhole player with no arms and legs has been accused of murder in Charles County. And it just leads everybody to click the story because how do you not click that story?
Just stick to the facts.
Succinct, to the point. There's nothing wrong in that headline.
You don't need to embellish that.
No, you don't. One of the wilder ones you'll ever remember. How will the Cornhole League respond? I don't know. We have not seen their statement on this. Are we banning the We're not watching, boycotting the Cornhole League until we get a sufficient response?
If the Cornhole League takes appropriate and immediate action.
You need to suspend. There needs to be something here, right?
This isn't something that you would expect to have,
Absolutely bananas.
I would imagine the administration, the front office, I'm sure they're on Park Avenue.
They're not happy right now.
For the Cornhole League.
The Roger Goodell of the
Probably
Cornhole
couldn't
League
see that one coming.
Is driving around in tinted window SUVs trying to call people and figure out what are we going to do.
Cornhole security needs to be, they need more resources so they can.
Is Cornhole still big? Has Cornhole gone away a little bit? I feel like I haven't played cornhole in a while. I used to be a big cornhole guy.
It's a big tailgating thing.
Tailgates, still on tailgate lots.
I think summertime, out in the backyard sort of thing.
It's still, didn't hit its peak popularity and gone down. You think it's still riding high?
I think it's still there.
Okay, all right, I'll take your word for it. I used to be a big cornhole guy back in the drinking pre-kid days, but it's just I haven't played it a lot. But maybe when Teddy gets a little bit older, we'll get him into cornhole.
There you go.
He'd probably have fun with that. Put one out in the
that'll
backyard.
Be something.
Let him throw the bags around.
He can throw. It's not. You don't. It doesn't take fine motor skills.
Stand 5 feet away from it and try and toss it in the hole, buddy.
Board over there.
Just don't go shoot anybody.
Throw it there, and
that's all you got to do. Don't kill anybody. Lesson of the day. Let's get to some over-unders out of the National Football League. One team leads the charts. This was kind of surprising to me. I'll tell you who it is and what the number is. We'll get to that next on The Fan.
It's time for Who's Stinking It Up.
Woo! Do not go in there.
A sports lowlight, ripped from the headlines.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Schedule your appointment online at threemountainshomservices.com.
I got whatever amount of games left. I'm trying to coach a team. A bunch of guys are injured. I can't worry about my record or the team's record. So we'll talk about that at the end of the year.
Just so many issues with the Bucs. That is Doc Rivers. I think hiring him was issue number one. A third of the league is unwatchable, and one of those teams is Milwaukee. They're trying to shut down Giannis. They lost their 5th game by 30-plus points this season. That is the most in franchise history. They're guaranteed to have a losing season. And they're trying to shut down Giannis. I don't know what the value is going to be for him in the offseason, but we all know where this is going. And it's to a divorce. They just need to realize it and fire their head coach. Who's Sticking It Up? Brought to you by Three Mountains Home Services. Our friends at Three Mountains Home Services have a sweet special this March. Purchase a high-efficiency HVAC system and score a 16-year parts and labor warranty. 16 seasons of comfort starts now. Visit ThreeMountainsHomeservices.com today. Good point from one of our listeners. Not going to find any fingerprints on the gun.
Just have two eyewitnesses to worry about.
Harley, our local Falcons fan, saying at least some leagues and teams are having a worse offseason than the Falcons. That is true. Not by much, but that is true. What are we doing? All right, we'll get to Bill Orm coming up, top of the hour. Final hour, don't forget MailSack. Get your MailSack questions in, 503-864-6326, and we will answer them coming up at 9 a.m. Saw this randomly, a little quick hit. I got some little odds and ends to throw into the show today, and whatever we don't get to, we'll get to coming up tomorrow. But the idea of are you a big over-under bettor? Do you like looking at over-unders?
I will.
I always remind myself to do it.
I should do that more. I tend to be more like
game to game, weekend to weekend.
I want some immediate satisfaction. Did I win? Did I lose?
It's one of my gambling goals that I've tried to implement in my life is having more futures tickets and just kind of fun. Like, oh, I think they could win. Let's put on a division or a conference or win a champ, whatever the case may be. So I'm trying to do more of that because I have fun with it. And you look at certain teams and you have an idea of how you think they're going to do next year. And I saw this came across some of the over-unders are trickling out in the NFL, and you can go find them basically for any team. I'm not going to go through the entire league, but the team who was atop the list, I don't know why I was surprised by this, but I was kind of surprised by this because, look, Seattle just won the championship. They're returning outside of some running backs, and they lost some guys on defense, sure, but the bulk majority of their key guys are back again for next year, and they just locked up JSN. We talked about it on the show yesterday.
Witherspoon's the next one they got to figure out the extension for.
The Rams were 4 yards away from winning the NFC and came up short, and I think, have done nothing but get better in the offseason, and they improved their defense, and they've been super aggressive, as the Rams always are, getting McDuffie and some other guys, so they should be better, right? Like, okay, I'm thinking of who should have the highest over-under in the NFL. It's neither of those teams. The team with the highest over-under right now in the NFL, and this is all leading into the draft, so it'll change and evolve depending on what trades happen and which guys go where. The highest team in the NFL, you want to guess? You think you got an idea? I gave you two clues. It's not Seattle and it's not L.A.
No. And I think that has to do more with the fact of the competitiveness of their division.
It's a great point.
And the schedules based on where you were last year, you're matched up with next year goes a long way. Who is in a division they should own?
The irony of it is this team didn't even win their division last year.
Yeah.
Which is why because I would have thought that they should own the division, and they didn't win their division last year.
The Colts?
It is not the Colts.
Oh, okay.
Although that's not a bad guess, but the South has gotten a little bit better.
Injuries wrecked their season.
They were, 8-1, 8-2
Something
until
like
Daniel Jones went down. The highest over-under right now in the NFL belongs to the Baltimore Ravens. Over-under. A
lot of faith.
11.5. They went 8-9 last year.
A new head coach.
But to your point, because in theory, it makes sense of the Steelers are going to have a 47-year-old Aaron Rodgers again. Like, are they going to be any different? Probably not. Mike McCarthy, okay, whatever. And his Denny's menu.
The Bengals can't play. They have
the
no
Bengals
defense.
have no defense, and the Browns are the Browns. So, in theory, I understand it, but that was the case last year.
Yeah,
they went 8-9. So I've already looked at that, and I know Hendrickson's a good addition. The Crosby thing blew up. They were super shady in pulling out of that deal. You're basically got to go 12-5,
and they figure out, okay, we have Travis Henry. Let's not outthink the room.
You mean Derrick Henry? But
Derrick Henry.
I see. Yeah, just run the football, pound the rock.
Well, do that. Let's complement it. Let's have a good complementary. Let's utilize him, establish him, force teams to come up, and then make it easy for Lamar, with passing opportunities. It's like, let's not make things more complicated than they need to be.
Should be a little bit simpler. I'm telling you right now, this is one I saw that I was reading through this, putting some notes together.
They got like 12.5, 11.5?
11.5, so you got to go 12-5 to hit the over. That's a 4-win improvement from
let's
them.
say they go 5-1 they should be favored in all 6 games.
You would think so,
health.
but them beating the Steelers is never easy, no matter what the Steelers look like.
Let's say they lose one somewhere for whatever reason, so they go 5-1 in conference.
Right, you'd have to be 7-4 the rest of your slate.
That seems reasonable.
It seems
reasonable. Who are they matched up with?
I didn't pull it up, or I don't have it in front of me. Let me pull it up real quick. I went when I saw this yesterday, and I gambled on the under of this.
Ooh.
Just because of one. I mean, you have a quarterback who I love. I want Lamar to win, and I root for him to win.
They are matched up with the NFC. Ooh, they're NFC North. That won't be easy.
NFC
now, the
North
AFC
is brutal.
East, they got 2 gimmies with the Jets and the Dolphins.
You would assume, yes. But the Bills are tough, and the Patriots, I think, will regress, but that's not a cakewalk win.
So you've got home, you have the Patriots, Bears, Lions, Rams, Texans. That's not easy.
That's a tough schedule.
And then on the road, you got the Bills, Chiefs, Vikings, Packers.
Yeah, that's...
Ooh, I
went immediately and bet the under on this. That's why I love looking at these numbers, and I'm like, maybe they pull off another deal and there's more moves to come. But you got a new head coach, a new play caller.
I got like 7... I'm looking at that 7 wins, like sure wins.
Yes. And then you tell me you
now
win 10 or 11.
5 more out of that.
Mm-hmm. That's a tough category to pull 5 wins out of. And you could go 11-5 or 11-6 and have a great, or 11
and still win the division.
And still win the division.
Host a first round game, maybe a divisional game.
I just need you to win less than 11 or 11 or less. That's all I need. So I took the under on that. There are 9 teams tied for the second highest win total in the NFL, so which is only 1 game behind the Ravens. So Ravens are 11.5. There's 9 teams tied at 10.5.
And that's where probably your Rams, your Seahawks.
Yep, here are the teams. The Bills, the Chiefs, the Chargers, 10.5, Lions, Packers, Rams, Eagles, Seahawks, and 49ers.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about the NFC East because I desperately wanted to run and put a bet on the Eagles under, but I don't know enough. Like, what are the commies going to look like this year? I like the Giants on paper, but I also liked the Giants to take a step last year, and they didn't do it. And the Cowboys are kind of the Cowboys, but maybe they're better.
Yeah, but the Cowboys have talent, and they can win.
They can win
their
any
offense
game.
can go off for 40 on any given Sunday.
NFC North, because the division is so tough, I thought, 10.5 taking some unders on the Lions or the Packers. I'm not opposed to either of those. So these are all out now. It's fun to look ahead to them, and they'll change as draft season goes on. I was just surprised. Maybe I shouldn't be, but the Ravens having the top number in the league ahead of all these other teams was a bit surprising to me, even though I know their division is not very good. We got a lot to get to in hour number 3. A story coming out about Tom Dundon taking over the Blazers has some worried. Are you with those some, or is it not that big of a deal to you? Talk a little bit about their game last night against Brooklyn, although it was pretty much unwatchable. We'll start, though, with Bill Oram, the columnist at the Oregonian. Don't forget to get your mail sack questions in for 9 a.m., 503-864-6326. We'll answer them coming up an hour from now. But Bill Oram, columnist of the Oregonian, is next, 105.1 FM The Fan.
You know.
AM.
First on The Fan, Blazers enjoyed the offensive buffet the Nets offered them. Nobody feasted more than Toumani Camara, a career-high 9 threes and 35 points to lead the Blazers to the 134-99 rout of Brooklyn. They're a game under 500, a half game behind the Clippers for the 8th spot in the West. And Portland will get set to host the equally awful Milwaukee Bucks on Wednesday. As the NCAA tournament whittles the teams down, the college basketball coaching carousel winds up. Randy Bennett, after 2+ decades at St. Mary's, has accepted the full-time gig at Arizona State. He gets a 5-year contract replacing Bobby Hurley. Cincinnati Bearcats hiring Utah State's Jared Calhoun after he got them to round 2 of the NCAA tournament. Reports say Calhoun will take over at the place that he started his coaching career. He was a graduate assistant for Bob Huggins. 20th ranked Oregon Ducks baseball team is on the road in California, starting a 5-game trip. They have 2 midweek against the Tritons of UC San Diego. Game 1 tonight, 6 p.m. first pitch. Pre-game coverage will begin at 5:45 on 910 ESPN Portland. The Major League Baseball season will begin Wednesday with the season opener, and reports out of Chicago indicate the Cubs are finalizing a contract extension with 24-year-old Gold Glove center fielder Pete Crow Armstrong. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the Fan Happy Hour.
Before we do this, let's go over the ground rules.
The Daily Ticker, where Dirt and Sprague hit the big stories you've heard about, and some you haven't.
How'd you do that? Actually, I'm not even mad. It's amazing.
The Daily Ticker with Dirt and Sprague on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 3, Dirt and Sprague, your Portland Sports leader. 105.1 FM, The Fan, 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube. Good morning, everybody. Don't forget to get your mail sack questions in. We will answer them coming up 1 hour from now at 9 a.m. I got a bet that I'm going to give you that everybody should go place, and I made sure to remember it for this year because I forgot to do it last year. I'll tell you what that is. That's coming up a little bit later on in this hour, and some Blazer conversation mixed in as well. Lots going on in the local sports world, and we thought what a great time to bring on our guy, Bill Oram, the columnist of the Oregonian. There was a story that came out about a week ago or a couple days ago about Tom Dundon, who is at any moment now going to take over ownership of the Blazers, and the percentage that he's putting forward to pay up front, how much is later. That's a part of all the other stuff going on with the Blazers, including the Moda Center renovations. And so joining us now, live on spring break, is a columnist of the Oregonian, our good friend, Bill Oram, at Bill Oram on Twitter. Bill, good morning to you. OregonLive.com is where you can find all his great work. What are we doing for spring break? Anything fun in the plans?
I mean, I wish that I had like an amazing story because, I look around and I see people who are going off to Mexico and Hawaii and Iceland or wherever else. I think we're going to make it over to the coast for a little bit.
Okay. You're born at the beach, Bill Oram, born at the beach. You got to get back to your roots.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll probably do a little bit of that. I think it's going to be nice over there this week, but I guess I shouldn't say that because I don't want everybody going to the beach.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible over there. It's going to rain all day. It's going to be miserable.
Snow.
Yes, snow. Snow on the coast. What are we doing? Or now, are you in charge of like breakfast every day? Are we doing exotic spring break breakfast? What's the routine like every day at the Oram household?
There have been some pancakes involved so far. We did go do some cherry blossoms yesterday before peak bloom disappeared on us before it rains and the cherry blossoms all come down. So did a little of that. Had a little downtown afternoon. Went and got some lunch with the kids.
Hey.
Showing them some sights around town. Want them to feel like real Portlanders.
That checks a lot of boxes right there. A little pancake on a spring break morning. You wake up, you sleep in, don't got to go to school. Sounds like a delightful morning to get up to and a good breakfast to start your day. Let me ask you something, Bill. The story came out a couple days ago. We're just kind of mentioning it before we brought you on. So Tom Dundon's going to take over at any moment now. I don't know if we have a date on that or if you have any insight on when that's actually going to happen, but everybody keeps saying at the end of March that's going to pass through. And then I think it was Front Office Sports that had it. Maybe it was elsewhere that he's paying 80% up front and then 20% at a later date. And that leaves some worried about his cash flow, and are we getting a poor owner? I'm just curious your takeaway of that story, and what do we know about when this is all supposed to change hands?
So I'll start with the transaction first, which is it is going to close by the end of the month, or at least it's on schedule to close by the end of the month, which would be the 31st. Everybody's got that date circled. The way this works is that the Board of Governors is meeting maybe right now, but is meeting this week, today and tomorrow in New York. The Blazers are not on the agenda for the Board of Governors meeting, which is not a surprise or is not alarming. This vote is not happening in the actual Board of Governors. So what will happen is that there is a committee of the Board of Governors that will meet, that will make a recommendation to the full Board of Governors on, yay or nay on the incoming owners of the Blazers. I mean, all signals are that that's going to be a recommend. And then the Board of Governors will have a set number of days to file an electronic vote. And with everything set to be wrapped up by the 31st, which is next Tuesday. So, that is the process. It's not going to be a thing where it comes out of the Board of Governors meeting on Wednesday and Adam Silver says, the Board of Governors has approved Tom Dundon. He's the new owner. That's not exactly how it's going to go.
Okay.
By the time Adam Silver addresses reporters tomorrow, my understanding is that the vote will not have taken place yet. But it's on track for the end of the month. As far as the 80% and the poor owner part, I think there's quite a bit of nuance actually to that. Deals do close in multiple stages. I think the Celtics sale was designed to close in 2 stages, so it's not unprecedented. But yes, I mean, I think that the reality is the Blazers are getting bought by a guy who is not as liquid, does not have, the wealth to just come in and buy the team the way, very, very few of these people exist and very few people want to use so much of their wealth
right.
on a single asset. So, but Tom Dundon doesn't have $4 billion. He has the value of the Hurricanes and then some other amount of significant wealth, but not $4.25 billion. He needed a capital stack to get this done, which is why, you see Shield Tile and the Churns and the CEO of Blue Owl, they all come in together, they pool their money, and that's how this gets done. Time will tell what that actually means for the operation of the Blazers. There are a lot of people who believe that Tom is pretty cutthroat when it comes to the business of his teams, where he does cut down on what he would view as inefficiencies. The Blazers have a lot of employees. The Blazers are, really staffed up, frankly, right. kind of throughout. I don't even mean like coaching staff or front office, but in all those other departments of, like where the normal people work. Right. And how is Tom Dundon going to look at all of that? Because he is somebody who's going to want to invest in the basketball and the players and the things that are directly related to being competitive and putting a winning product on the court. But if he can save money everywhere else, as people who have been around him have explained to me, he's going to want to do that. So it's going to be really interesting to see what changes he wants to make over time with the Blazers as he kind of remakes this team in his image. But obviously he has this is the sort of stuff that the NBA is reviewing, right? Like they're doing their due diligence on, does the ownership group, not just Tom Dundon, does the ownership group have the pocketbook to run this over the long term? And the answer is going to be yes. Right. Because Tom Dundon doesn't need to own 100% of the team. He needs to own a minimum of 15% of the team to be the controlling owner, to be the governor. Right. So you don't need to be the richest guy in your own group to be the governor or to be the lead owner.
It's interesting, Bill. We're talking to Bill Orm, columnist of The Oregonian, at Bill Orm on Twitter, OregonLive.com. You got into what my next question would be a little bit there, because I think when people think of cheap, they think of, like, there's a lot of these owners in baseball that just don't spend money, like the Pirates owner. There's a lot of infamous ones out there who don't spend a dime. They don't care about winning, and they just kind of roll the product out every single year, and fans continue to watch and pay, and they yell and holler online, but ultimately nothing really changes. And I've never really had that sense. Like, I had somebody in NHL circles reach out to me when he bought the team, because he's obviously known as the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, and saying, good luck with that. He's really cheap. And I went back and forth with him a little bit of, well, what is he cheap on? Because he's known as an ultra competitive guy who wants to do whatever it takes to win. And the response was kind of what you're highlighting. Like he got rid of their broadcast team in Carolina when they took over, who was a beloved broadcast team, but they were expensive because they were beloved and they've been around a long time. And that ruffled feathers, but fans eventually got over it because the team's been in the playoffs now for whatever it is, like 7 or 8 years in a row. And so you kind of answered it a little bit there, but is that your takeaway, that there will be a lot of cost-cutting measures that probably take place around the fringes? But it seems like the vibe that I've gotten, and I'm curious if you have as well, is that this guy is somebody who, he's not just owning it as an asset. Like, he's genuinely a competitive person who wants to win at all costs.
I think that's pretty much right. And I think, I know people have their feelings about, Jody Allen and Burt Cold, but, the Blazers have been like a pretty nice organization. It's like, especially over this, in this era, like, there's a lot of, it's a nice place. Like it's a friendly organization. Yeah. I don't know how else to put it. And I don't know if it necessarily will be as warm and fuzzy, with a more cutthroat owner. And that's maybe just the realities of professional sports as a business. Yeah. Paul Allen did not need to worry about every single line item. He wasn't as concerned about making money. Like, I mean, this is a business for Tom Dundon.
Yeah. And it helps when you win. That's the ultimate driver of revenue. Where are we at on the? You obviously ruffled everybody's feathers with the article about the money that's needed, and will this pass through every house that it needs to, and city and county and state and all that. I know last time we had you on, we checked. Any updates on that? Where is that? What yard line are we at? I guess where's the football at right now? Are we in the red zone? Are we inside the 10-yard line? And has your optimism level changed based on what you've seen to this point? Because I know there's still a lot of hurdles we got to jump over.
Yeah, I think that they are they've crossed midfield.
Okay.
And driving. I think that the state was the biggest piece of this. I don't know if the state is the biggest piece. I don't know if the state was going to be the most difficult piece. Because the city of Portland has a lot of issues. There's a lot of different personalities on the city council, a lot of different feelings around, spending money on this project. That said, I think that the way that everybody sort of rowed in the same direction at the state sort of set the tone for how this needs to go. And I think a lot of the rhetoric around it has kind of primed the pump for the city and county to get on board. Leadership at the city and county are on board. So really, I think it's trending in that direction. I think that there's that piece, right? Can they secure the roughly $600 million in promised funds to go toward a renovation? And then there is taking that into a meeting room with the ownership group, the new ownership group, once they arrive, and negotiating that 20-year lease for the Moda Center. I almost said Rose Garden.
It's close.
I almost did. It's still in me. And then how do those negotiations go? Because it really, Tom Dundon still has to say yes, that the $600 million is good enough, and that he's good with the lease. And I think that's where there's still going to be a lot of back and forth, a lot of probably negotiation. But I do think that with $600 million in place, I have a really hard time with believing that the NBA would let an owner come to them and say, I want to move the team because I'm only getting $600 million from Portland. And, let's just pretend Nashville will give me $1 billion. It's like, well, you have a 50-year history in Portland, and therefore, you're going to make the $600 million work, even if it's not as economically appealing. So I think I do feel pretty positive about where things are at and where things are going. I think it's indisputable that without this package, we'd be talking about something very, very grim and dire, regarding the future of the Trailblazers. But what they were able to get done in the short legislative session, I think really set the tone for this moving forward and ultimately getting done.
Well, it's nice to see everybody kind of wake up and realize I don't want to be the one that had the blood on my hands of the Blazers leaving because I didn't pass something or vote for something, and that's something that will hang over your legacy. In a city like this, in a passionate sports city like this, for the rest of your political career. Last one on the Blazers for you, Bill. Are you... I don't know. I'm having a hard time late in the year. It's kind of like we've known their lot in life for a while. Yeah. We know they're going to be in the play-in. We know where this is ending, and they're playing a lot of like last night's game is just God. I don't want to watch Brooklyn play basketball again. They just played them in Brooklyn like a week ago. Are you catching play-in fever? You kind of like wake me up when the season ends. Where are you at on the Blazers right now, who have certainly taken a step in the right direction, but you're still in that not really where you want to be category of not good enough, not bad enough. Are we getting playoff or play-in fever at the Orem household?
It's funny, is my 10-year-old woke up with a fever this morning.
Oh, no. That's the worst.
I hope that's what it is.
Yeah, it's Blazer fever. It'll be over in 24 hours. You'll be fine.
It's so funny you said that, because I went to the game last night, and I was sitting there, and I was like, there was just no energy around that game whatsoever. Yeah. And I don't mean just the fans. I mean, around the building, a bunch of the media isn't there because, they're in New York for the board of governors. So it just was like it was just a lighter crew, kind of in my world. And it just felt like such a going through the motions evening at the Moda Center to me. And I think that's a reflection on the opponent, the time of the season. It's a Monday. Like, I don't know. It was like one of the lowest wattage NBA games I've ever been to. And then the Blazers played like it. I mean, Drew Holiday was throwing the ball to Tiago Splitter. Like, it was just...
They still won by 25, and they still killed him, too.
It was funny because, like, I was talking to somebody at the game was unfolding. I was like, it felt like Brooklyn was playing the Blazers kind of even. And then you look up, and they're up by 15 in the first half. You're like, okay. Because the Blazers did not play very well.
No.
I think that if anyone had told, like, the Blazers are probably going to finish with 39, 40, or 41 wins. I mean, they've got a chance at 500. Mm-hmm. If anybody had told us that coming into the season, and that Denny would have missed so many games, and that Scoot wouldn't play until February, and that all these things, you'd be like, wow. But I completely agree with you that, like, I still don't know what it means or where it is pointing. Because what is the fully realized version of this team is still and I say this including a healthy Damian Lillard next year. Is that a team that's getting out of the first round?
Yeah, I wouldn't say so.
And so it's just like, yeah, they're way better, obviously. I mean, and that's the point and the name of the game. But like, are they closer to actually contending in the West? I mean, Denny, Tumani, and Donovan Clingan are real pieces. Other than that, it's kind of a grab. It's a grab bag, and like I don't know what to do with that. And you're still building, and those are foundational pieces. You've extended Tumani. Denny's still on a great contract, and it'll be easy to extend. But I mean, not to go all doomsdayer here, but I was talking to a scout last night, and we were just sort of musing. And I said, is it inconceivable that Tom Dundon will come in and he doesn't give a toot, and he says, well, we're not contending with this team. Denny has incredible trade value. We're trading him for a bunch of picks. We're trading Tumani for picks, and we're just tearing it down to the studs, and we're going to do this the right way. And I think the answer is that I don't think it's inconceivable. I think there's certainly an argument that that's the right way to build a team. But man, that'd be a hard sell in Portland after what these fans have been through. If somebody came in and did that again, I think it'd be really, really tough. But like that might be the fastest way back to contention.
Yeah, I mean, you're not. He would have a supporter in my voice because I've been on the record saying sell high on Denny. I think we have a problem in this city of holding on to pieces and things that too long until the value. Anthony Simon, C.J. McCollum, the list goes on and on. We're all worried that another Jermaine O'Neal will happen. I'd be all for that idea because you don't have the most important thing that you need, which is a number one star to build around. Yeah. And Denny's a great player. He's an all-star. That's awesome. He's been a great sight this year to see him improve and have a good season. But you don't until you have that missing ingredient, and it's the hardest ingredient to find. Your lot in life is the same as it's always been. Are you cool to hang around one more segment, Bill? We got 10 more minutes with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, all right. We'll put a ball on the Blazer conversation. Your guy Wayne Tinkle got turfed at Oregon State. I want to ask you about that. Their latest hires and all that. So a little bit more. Bill Orm, the columnist of the Oregonian, continuing next on the Fan.
The Fan's YouTube channel is taking off.
There's nothing you can do but throw your hands up and go, dude.
105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
All right, welcome back in. Bill Oram, columnist of the Oregonian, joining us for a second segment. I don't know in your line of work, Bill, if you get people who tell you how, you should try this, or you should do this. Why is the newspaper doing that? We get these random, notes from listeners. You guys should talk more about this. It's like, well, we've been doing it for a while. We kind of know what we're doing. Piece of advice for you and the Oregonian over there, that if you guys can find a way to have a double amputee professional cornhole player murder somebody so that you can run the headline on OregonLive.com, professional cornhole player with no arms and legs has been accused of murder in Multnomah County, I think it'd be good for business. Do we have any takes on a man with no arms and legs shooting somebody in the head with a gun?
I don't have a take at all, other than what a terrible story, obviously.
Yes.
But yes, there are certain things that you don't expect to read in a headline, and things that do not all go together. Professional cornhole player with the quadruple amputee murder. It's like, I wasn't even through my first cup of coffee when I read that. And, some things I do not mean to be insensitive to the fact that something horrible happened. But yeah, I read that this morning, and I was flabbergasted just by the word salad of the headline. And I mean, it was one of those where the first time through, I didn't think it was real, and then I got the ESPN alert while we were just on the break, and I was like, oh, this is real.
They had to send one out because they had a feature of him on ESPN 2 years ago. The guy
saw that.
Those E60, feel good stories. Which, how is it not? He has no arms and legs. He's a professional cornhole player. It's a great feel good story. Not anymore.
Do you play a lot of cornhole in the summer? Because I love it.
Yeah.
Backyard cornhole. And it's almost cornhole season. I can.
Do you have your own board? Do you have you can smell the cornhole in the air. Do you have your own Orem family boards? Do you get specially painted? What do we play on? You got your own equipment over there?
Not to get all mushy here, but we had a friend of the family made custom boards for us when we got married. So we actually have cornhole boards with the outline of the state of Idaho, because we got married in eastern Idaho.
Okay.
And it says, Bill and Leslie, August 15th, 2015. So we have custom wedding cornhole boards that I pull out when it's time to play, and they're beautiful, and it's always a fun reminder of love.
I'm gonna pick up that microphone. That's a brag right there, man. Specialty made wedding cornhole boards. I'm a little bit jealous of them. I had those plastic ones you buy online. It's just not the same. You don't get the same bounce off of them.
Not the same. You got good bags. You got to pay a premium for the good bags.
You do. My bags are average. I got bad bags. I don't like my bags. I need better bags, Bill.
This has been maybe the most entertaining for first 90 seconds of a segment, or the most maybe the most all over the place 90 seconds of a segment.
We had the conversation earlier about cornhole, and I'm trying. I got a 2-year-old at home, so there's not a lot of outdoor party time for me like there used to be back in the day. But I'm eagerly awaiting his debut of cornhole playing this summer. Now that he's old enough and tall enough and all that, to get him tossing some bags around, so I can get cornhole back in my life. I don't play as much cornhole as I used to. So now I just need to go get my custom boards and my better bags so I can match the Orem household. Let me ask you this, because I already don't have much time with you now. The fire story is just bananas to me, where the WNBA finally gets the deal done. So now we know a season's going to happen, so that's great news. And I'm looking at the calendar, and I'm like, wait a minute. We're playing a game in 6 weeks. We don't have a roster yet, Bill. And they're trying to hire people. Are they going to be able to do all this? Where is that at on your sports radar of the next 2 months? Because that's starting here right around the corner.
Yeah, it's wild. And I wrote about that last week, that just it's going to happen because it has to. And, Toronto's in the exact same boat, but I can't think of anything that is comparable in sports where a team has had to be assembled and come together in, a matter of weeks. I mean, think about it from a marketing standpoint. They're selling tickets. You have nobody. They have no stars to market around. They have nobody for you to be excited about being on the team. Obviously, forget chemistry or knowing what positions you need to target in the expansion draft. It's all of them. I do know that they've been hard at work on this. I mean, Vanya Cernovich got hired in when was she hired? Last summer, I want to say.
Sounds right.
Yeah, because so she's been in a position where it was right at the end of the WNBA season because they went to playoffs. She has a good feel for the landscape. She's hired people. They know who's available. I think that's one of those things where you have a plan that can go about 900 different ways, and it's like going into your fantasy draft, and they have I think they have a rough idea of how this is going to go, and it's going to be a really interesting test of their ability to pivot, adjust, and throw this together. But I think it's going to make it really, really hard for the Fire to be competitive in year one. Just to put it together so quickly makes it, I think, even harder for this team to actually be good in year one, which is fine, I think. I mean, expansion teams aren't supposed to be good. The Valkyries last year in Golden State sort of changed the calculus on that because they were so good as an expansion team. But I think really it's really about getting the team on the court, getting some players in town, starting to build a culture, and getting people in the building to experience the WNBA in Portland again. I think that's the most important thing over wins and losses in year one.
Yeah, let's just get the thing going. I'm with you there. It'll be fun to have him back, and tough to put a roster together in a month. But that's kind of the state the entire league's in right now, and we're a little bit different with expansion. Let me ask you last one for you, Bill. We'll let you go. With a kiddo at home who's not feeling good, get those pancakes on the stove. What is your reaction to what has transpired down in Corvallis? I know you're a Wayne Tinkle guy, and you and Sprague have debated that over the weeks and months about should you keep him, should you not? He's handled it with class. Oregon State not so much. Barnes still responsible for making the hire, so I don't really know how to feel about the idea of I can get on board with the idea of making a change, and sometimes it's just you have to run its course, and this isn't going anywhere. Whether it's his fault or not, like change can be good, but I don't know where the university's at from a funding standpoint, and if the new guys is setting up to fail. Where are you at on that, and the way Oregon State handled booting Wayne Tinkle prior to the end of the season, and then hiring a new head coach?
I'm fine with the decision to move on. I mean, I think Wayne. I think he did a good job with what he had, especially over the last couple of years. I think that those were better teams than people really realized, especially 2 years ago. Last year, the first year in the WCC, I thought he built a really good roster and then just couldn't keep them because there was no money. But when there's no money, you got to ask yourselves, well, what can we do that can maybe bring in a little bit more revenue? How can we build a little more excitement? And you're right, a lot of times that is a new coach. I think that's going to be the real test for Justin Joyner because he certainly can command a room. I believe he's going to be able to recruit. I mean, that's a huge part of his reputation. He's done it at a really high level. He, is extremely charismatic, but also it's like, this job, he was going to take this job because of what it does for his family, what it means for his family. And that's an incredible story that his wife is a coach is the soccer coach at Oregon, that their family can be together after being apart for a couple of years. They have a young daughter. All of that is like a really, really cool story. But then it also makes you ask, I think, well, did that mean that he was less discerning about what is actually available in terms of resources at Oregon State? Was he more willing to take a job with poor resources because of what it did for his family personally than somebody else who might have come in and looked under the hood and said, you guys aren't funding this appropriately? Where he's betting on himself a little bit more than somebody else would have coming into that. So I think, it's a classic time will tell sort of situation. I mean, the new Pac-12 is a basketball conference. I mean, it is going to be a lot of fun, but really difficult for for an upstart program to get to the top of. Gonzaga and Utah State both are, perennial second weekend NCAA tournament teams. San Diego State was in the Final Four a couple of years ago. Colorado State has, can be good. Fresno State can be good. And then you got Oregon State and Washington State. And so it's going to be a really competitive and really compelling basketball league, but it's going to be hard for the Beavers to get to the top of it, I think.
Yeah, especially if the money does not flow where it needs to flow in terms of building a roster. Bill Oram is our one of our favorites, columnist at The Oregonian, at Bill Oram on Twitter. We got takes on cornhole there. He's a big cornhole guy. We're working on some headlines here. We need a W amputee to go kill somebody in Multnomah County so we can get some nice, juicy stories out there. Go give him a follow on Twitter, at Bill Oram, OregonLive.com. Enjoy the rest of your spring break. Good luck with the sick kiddo. Have fun at the beach, and let's do this again soon.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Thanks so much for having me on, and I'm sorry we got a little off the rails there at the start of the segment.
Okay. I love getting
That
off
was
the
on me.
rails. I love it, Bill. We love you every time. Bill Oram, columnist of The Oregonian, chatting with us about a whole slew of topics, including your Portland Trailblazers. And that is where I wanted to go next. We have not talked about that story yet. The article coming out in Front Office Sports, Tom Dundon buying 80% of the team, and that has led to some to be concerned about his cash flow and what does it mean for the success on the floor? What does it mean for off the floor stuff? There's been a rumor circulating that we'll touch on in the next segment about where prices might be going in years to come. I want to talk about that. Let's dive into it because I don't quite have the same fear as some other people, and I'll tell you why that is, and we'll get into it coming up next. But first, here's Swag with SportsCenter.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Blazers get to feast at the buffet that is the Brooklyn Nets, and nobody filled their plate more than Toumani Camara. He had a career-high 9 threes, a career-high 35 points, leading the Blazers to the 134-99 rout to stay a half game behind the Clippers for the 8th spot in the Western Conference. Portland will get to host the equally awful Bucks Wednesday after L.A. pasted them last night. College basketball coaching carousel winding up as the NCAA tournament whittles down the pool of teams. Randy Bennett, after 2+ decades at St. Mary's, leaving for Arizona State, getting a 5-year deal to replace Bobby Hurley. Cincinnati hiring Utah State's Jared Calhoun. According to reports, Calhoun started his coaching career as a graduate assistant for Bob Huggins with the Bearcats. 20th ranked Oregon Ducks baseball team starts a 5-game California road trip this evening, taking on the Tritons of UC San Diego. First pitch 6 p.m. Our pregame coverage begins at 5:45 on 910 ESPN Portland. And after the Oregon Ducks' disappointing men's basketball season, reports are Kwame Evans Jr. plans to enter the transfer portal when it opens up on April 7th, but he is also considering plans to test the NBA draft process as well. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon.
All right, welcome back in. Millsack coming up top of the hour. Keep your questions rolling in. 503-864-6326. That is the fan text line. Sports, non-sports, we'll get to all of them coming up at the top of the hour. I have a bet that I'm going to give you that I made sure to remember for this week. I reminded myself a year ago.
Okay.
We have to bet this.
Oh.
And I will tell you what that is in the final hour of the show.
Okay.
Blazers played a game last night. It was fun to hear Orm's thoughts as he was there. I was just watching on TV, obviously. I turned the game off at halftime because they were playing terribly and still up by 20 points. And I just Kamara making a lot of shots was fun, but you're playing a team of guys I've never heard of before who actively is trying to lose. And that's really how the next week of your season is going to go. I'm at a very weird spot with them where we all can acknowledge they've taken a step, but what does it mean in the grand scheme of things is $1 million question that I still don't have answers to. And I'm not one of those people who at the first sign of some sort of progress will bow down on my knees and tell you, great job, well done. Say, all right, I mean, that's a nice step. I still think it's better to be in the lottery than it is to be the 8 seed because that benefits you much greater.
That's the very
years
curious
to come.
spot that I'm watching is all right, how hard are they going after this to be in the playoffs to have OKC
just obliterate them for 4 games, and then your season's over, and you lose your first-round pick, which you're going to have to lose at some point. I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
This is just a loaded draft class, and you're telling me I would have a, 1.5% chance? I'd rather have that.
It's now announced Steph Curry probably not going to play the rest of the season and may not be in there for the play-in.
Because the Warriors are smart, and why would they risk playing him in the play-in?
Well, they're not going to risk him unless he's actually healthy.
No, and they don't care about being the 8 seed and getting slaughtered by Oklahoma. They would rather throw their hat in the lottery ring, I would argue, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
It's not what they're saying publicly.
Of course, because you can't say that publicly, that we want to lose games on purpose. I mean, that's a hard thing to admit right now in the NBA. So in the background of all of this is a week from today, we are expected to get some sort of announcement on the closure of the sale.
Yeah, the Board of
Blazers.
Governors are meeting here at some point.
I think it's this weekend.
This week.
But that's more about expansion than it is about the sale.
Well, they still have to vote to do a final. It sounds that I don't know.
So the way that, and Bill kind of highlighted it there, I've read up on this a little bit, that you don't need to be in person for the owner vote. So the owner meeting, they're allotting all of their time to the discussion about it.
He's already been vetted and approved
you
as
zoom
a potential owner.
Yay,
and
nay.
so then it's just a matter of, okay, here's all the paperwork. We've got all the documents ready
Everybody
to go.
zoom in for 20 minutes, give a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah, the NBA lawyers say, nope, it looks good. We're fine with the way this is going down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it'll happen in a week. There's a concern out there from some, and I get it. There's a lot of bad, cheap owners in sports. We talk about this constantly in baseball, people who don't want to spend, and it gives you an easier pathway to win when you have somebody who has unlimited resources. It can go do whatever they want, whenever they want, and Steve Ballmer is the prime example of that, even though the Clippers have done literally nothing.
Build his own $2 billion arena.
Yes, but he can build his own arena. And there's a story out there in Front Office Sports that Dundon up front, along with the group that he's involved in, is buying 80% of the team and 20% will come at a later date. And that's been rumored for a while. Now we know some of the details behind it. To Orem's point, and I'm glad he brought it up because I read up on this yesterday of, okay, do you want him to buy the whole thing up front? Sure, I understand the argument. The Celtics are doing the same thing. They just sold.
Timberwolves, remember the thing with A-Rod and his
it went on
group?
forever.
And it went on, they had payments due at certain points and there was dispute over... And then there was another sale, so the relative value went up.
Right.
But A-Rod's group says, no, we have a contract. This is all we have to pay you.
And they fought over that.
Exactly.
So this stuff takes a long time to untangle. It's a lot of money involved. And I guess part of me just doesn't have that fear of what it means to have somebody who's not, like, we lived in a great world with Paul Allen as an owner, and we can critique his meddling and, firing too many GMs and all that, but he always wanted to win, and he had unlimited resources. And so it was a good spot to be in as a fan, where he built the Moda Center.
It's actually Dundon's, there's more pressure on him to win.
Yes, I would argue so, right? And
because he's got to tap every revenue and cash flow and keep it rolling in.
He absolutely does. I just, part of me scoffs at this notion of being concerned about it because it's some of it's under the premise as if things have been great. And what's going to happen now that Tom Dundon is taking over? Like, we had a comment on our YouTube when I asked Bill the question about, are we worried about Dundon being cheap? And he was like, I've dealt with 25 years of no title expectations. I'm not concerned about having somebody who's not at the upper echelon of spending. And it's a perfect way to put it of like, we've been irrelevant for my entire adult life. We've never been competitive. We've had fun moments and little bubbles here or there where it's, hey, if West doesn't get hurt, or hey, a random conference finals because we got the right matchup in the second round, or hey, Roy and Odin and Aldridge maybe could do something. No, that didn't turn out to be the case.
I was in high school and college.
You lived through an era in which there was actual hope of doing things.
Twice.
Like, this is my entire life. It's been hopeless as a Blazer fan, which is one of the reasons that I'm a little pessimistic about the franchise from time to time, because I just got to the point as a fan of, like, I'm done getting excited about Elliott Williams. I can't do this to myself anymore. Right. I need to wake up and pull my head out of the clouds and let's see a little bit clearer here.
I also don't think it's going to be an overnight thing coming in, because he's coming at the end of the season, so he's the biggest thing he's got to decide right away is Cronin and the head coaching position.
Yes. You get GM and coach. Are they on the chopping block, and team president as well? Like, are you making changes on the business, team side, and coach side?
The draft pick will be the draft pick.
Yep.
We'll see what they have available in free agency, but there's only so much you can do with a roster, especially in Portland, knowing that we're not a free agent haven. Although I did see Portland on a recent list of the top nightlife cities in the United States was 6th.
Oh, look at us. We're good. We got good nightlife?
Apparently so.
It's been a while since my nightlife
we got a lot
existed.
Of bars. We
do
have
a lot
closing
of bars.
Time.
Yeah, I'm in bed every night by 9 o'clock, so I'm not aware of that anymore.
New Orleans
at this stage
was
of my life.
one.
Yeah, New Orleans is great. Yeah, I understand the fear in some aspects. I do. I get it. I acknowledge it. I also, from everything that I've read about this guy and heard about this guy and who has worked with him and known him.
He's competitive as hell.
He's competitive as hell. And so if you're telling me he's coming in and you might get a 2% increase on ticket prices because he's a little bit not as rich as some other owners, or you're telling me that certain positions behind the scenes inside I don't ever want to see people lose their jobs.
No.
But if he is cost-cutting in aspects off of the floor while making sure the resources are there to win at the highest level, I have no problem with that. I have no issue with that. Like this assumption that he is not he's a broke owner, therefore he's only going to spend to the salary floor every year.
That's what the NBA does the vetting.
What was the notion of Clay Bennett prior to him winning at a high level in Oklahoma City? He was a cheap owner who didn't want to pay his guys.
Yeah.
And now what did he just do? Because he hit the lottery 3 times in the draft and they gave everybody an extension and they're making money hand over fist because they're winning titles and they got an MVP. He's paying out the butt to keep all of his guys on the team.
Yeah.
So like this idea that you can I'm okay with him coming in and cost cutting in some ways as long as there's a driving force to want to win at the highest level. And I have no reason to doubt that Tom Dundon doesn't have that driving force. And so I just don't quite have that same fear as other people. I want to continue on this a little bit next. We're against it. We'll get to the mail sack coming up top of the hour. But where is that a concern for you that Tom Dundon isn't a top of the richest owners in the NBA and what it means? Because we're about a week away from him taking over control as the owner of the team. More on that next on The Fan.
Big hits, big bets, big plays.
Today I'm laying the big wood.
This is the Layin' Wood Report, brought to you by Mr. Plywood, serving Portland for over 50 years.
Touch pass from Shade, back to Fudd. How about the mid-range? Oh yeah! A little bit of everything from AZ Fudd.
Laying the wood last night, AZ Fudd, UConn taking on Syracuse. We played the audio from the Syracuse coach. She's livid. She's got to play UConn again. They were up, what was the score, 65-12, I think we calculated at halftime. Yeah. And the final was 98-45. They had a 53-point halftime lead. You could have picked a handful of games in the ladies' tournament for laying the wood, but that was one of them because there was a lot of wood laying going on in the second round of the tournament. Laying the wood, brought to you by Mr. Plywood, serving Portland for over 60 years. Delivery, custom cutting, and special orders. Visit them, MrPlywoodInc.com, or the location on Southeast Stark Street. Hey, right now, if you text the word Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y, that's how you spell Bobby, to 503-864-6326, you'll be entered for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see Bobby Lee on September 18th at the Elsinore Theater in Salem. 1051thefan.com for complete details. Again, text Bobby, B-O-B-B-Y, to 503-864-6326, and we'll have some of these to give away throughout the course of the week this week. So stay tuned, and we'll have more of those to give away. Millsack coming up 10 minutes from now. I was just scrolling through the chat and what people were saying. There was questions in there about Phil Knight. And, did we not have somebody who had deeper pockets that was willing to buy the team? Phil Knight took a run at it probably, was about 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
They said no, and
it got ugly. I mean, people forget that story. Like, him and who's the Dodger guy? Do you remember his name off the top of your head? He's a partial owner of the Dodgers.
Yeah, I know here. Guggenheim?
I think that's what it is. He's a big real estate guy down in L.A., and him and Phil Knight had this team. And they wanted to buy the Blazers, and they publicly announced that they had made an offer to Jody Allen to buy the Blazers because Paul understood the significance of the community, and they were doing those big donations to the Albina district.
Yeah, he still
and all
made
that.
the donations to the Albina
district. He didn't back off of that,
and still trying to build things up around it.
And Jody Allen said no.
And then then the story came out that they're actually, gonna sell the thing, and I don't know if he put out a statement.
He put out
a
statement.
Reported,
at this point, I know there's not that big of a difference for some, but how old is Phil Knight now? He is 88. So you go 5 years ago, you're 83. I know that's not that big of a difference, but he was willing to do it then. And then when this came up for sale this last summer,
have the same issue going in is what's the succession plan?
If he dies,
88, 89 years old when he takes over.
Right. That was the exciting part about his bid was that the Dodger guy was involved in it. And if anybody, I hate that organization with every fiber of my being. I'm also not dumb enough to acknowledge that
they know how to run an organization.
They're one of the best, if not the best in all of professional sports, right? And so having somebody like that involved was really intriguing. And one of the reasons I'm anti-Jody is that pissed me off because I think it would have been in much better hands and deeper pockets, and then you let that window close. Things got ugly. Remember, he leaked some of the Jody Allen, not that it wasn't already public knowledge, but there was an article in the New York Post about Jody Allen stealing penguin bones, and it got ugly, and she took shots at Phil. That got nasty because they were negotiating through the media, and it didn't end up happening. I guess I don't know. I'm at a weird spot. They win the game last night, and the rest of the season, we know how this movie is going to end, and we've said that since the All-Star break.
They got 4 more guaranteed wins on the schedule.
They play Milwaukee tomorrow. God, no, I don't want to watch that game.
And even though Giannis is working out pre-game,
they're not going to play him. They're not going to play him. You get Dallas
on
Friday.
He says he wants to play. He doesn't want to be shut down.
Right. It's a Max Crosby situation, and they're going to he's going to get traded. It's going to happen.
Have to.
He's not going to sign an extension there this offseason, and if he doesn't sign an extension there this offseason, they have to trade him because you can't lose him for nothing or wait until the next trade deadline to deal him. It's going to blow up in Milwaukee. You get Dallas on Friday, so Cooper Flagg, okay.
Flag's trying. That's a game that the Blazers, if they played like they did against the Nets, is going to be dicey at the end.
And then Washington on Sunday. And so you were on a stretch. You then get New Orleans next Thursday, who's also I know they're better in the last 2 weeks.
Well, that's the one where I'm like, which New Orleans team shows up? They were on a recent 6-game winning streak, and they beat some playoff teams, and Zion was balling, and you're like, that's a problem if that's how they're going to play.
Sure, and then Sacramento at the end of the year. I'm mainly talking about this from an angle of not that they can't lose any of these games. We lost to the Wizards on the road. That's happened. It's more of when were you excited to watch any of these games? And it's a weird feeling because I know they've taken a step and they're going to be in the playoff or play-in, maybe the playoffs.
The Clippers games, especially that first one.
It's a week from today.
Because there's a good chance they could play the Clippers in the play-in for the 8th playoff spot.
It's an NBC game next Tuesday.
Yeah.
And against the Clippers. And then the Friday, April 10th, it's their second-to-last home game and second-to-last game of the year they get them. And so that will likely decide some of the seeding here. I still think you're a long ways away from getting to ultimately where I want you to go as a fan. And as somebody who's seen them be a playoff team with zero hope so many times in my life, I, on the one hand, can grant you step in the right direction. You've been decimated by injuries, so congratulations on that. The bigger picture of where it is all going and how it is going to be put together is still as incomplete as it has ever been for me. And so I'm just not one of those that gets overly excited about the slightest increase in wins or the slightest improvement in this category or that category, only to be served up as a sacrificial lamb in the first round of the playoffs, because I've lived that existence my entire life. They went 14 years without winning a first-round playoff series. So I'm not going to pat you on the back for getting the 8th seed and getting swept in the first round because it's literally the spot that you don't want to be in the NBA. You're not good enough. You're not bad enough. And that's kind of where Portland has lived for the last 10 to 15 years. And it's really frustrating from that angle. And so I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, and they want to give them their flowers, and that's fine. Everybody can fan the way they want to fan.
I want to see him play those Clippers games because I'm looking at Thiago Splitter. Like, who knows when the Chauncey thing is going to get. I know he's got a court date coming up next month. Or
I mean, he's not. No matter what happens, you're not bringing him back.
So
you got a new owner taking over. It's just not. That's not happening.
So, yeah, and those are two important games. You will have at least one play-in game. Maybe you have two. I don't know, but can he? I'm mostly curious if I see anything that I believe, okay, no, they respond to him. He's pulling strings. He's not going to have a full slate next year if they bring him back next year. He's not going to have everything. Plus he's going to have Dame to throw back into the mix. How does this all work out? Can he, but can he come up with game plans? Can he put combinations together that will make them competitive against teams on any given night? I think it's mostly about him, not necessarily about the players.
I have such a hard time with NBA coaching because I certainly acknowledge the importance and the managing of egos and emotions and designing. Yeah. I'm not trying to diminish completely the role of a coach. I also, in the NBA, it has always been so roster driven of, I have no clue if Thiago Splitter's a good coach or bad coach. He's been handed, I think, the 3rd or 4th most injured roster in the league.
Yeah.
His 2 young guards, Scoot didn't play for the first 50 games, and Shaden shut down for the last 50 games, basically. I know not 50, but you get it's just the biggest thing that they need to do is in roster construction and building the team out, and that is Joe Cronin going to be the GM next year? Is that a move that gets made right away? Like, that's kind of where my head's at right now, but I certainly understand the point on Splitter, because if Cronin doesn't get fired, I would imagine Splitter's back, but has he shown enough? Is it even fair to assess him after 1 year with an incomplete deck of cards? It's a complicated thing. Again, highlighting why they're just still in this kind of weird flux stage.
And the other piece is Dame will certainly have a voice. He sat next to him on the bench the entire season, so he understands the dynamic that's going on the bench in games and film sessions and practice. So,
right.
If he gives him his vote of confidence, then he's probably back.
Probably.
But I don't have any better sense of him now than I did when he stepped in.
Yeah, my biggest fear is that, and I'll close with this. We'll get to the Magic hat. But my biggest fear is I feel like I've seen this movie a bunch in my life as a Blazer fan. Now, maybe Tom Dundon is the missing ingredient here, and he changes this, of just how many times we've seen a slight modicum of success or improvement that's then spun into, well, see, we're heading in the right direction. Trust us, we don't need to do anything. And then you basically roll the balls out again next year. And yeah, you got Damian Lillard coming back. I don't know what level of player he's going to be. I'm certainly rooting for him to have a great year next year. But are you winning a playoff series next year with this roster? Where does Scoot and Shaden do they come off the bench? A lot of questions remain for me, and I certainly acknowledge that they've improved. But we'll see how far it can go in the years to come, and how much Tom Dundon will shake that up, because he's likely going to be the new owner in about a week. Lots to get to. A bet that I made sure to remind myself of a year ago. I'll tell you what that is coming up in the final hour. We will start, though, with the mail sag. Your questions welcome. 503-864-6326. Send them in, sports, non-sports. Fire them away. We'll answer them coming up next on The Fan.
Hey, it's
Update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, Trailblazers get advantages here with the 4-game homestand against the bottom feeders of the NBA. They took it out on the Nets Monday night, 134-99 the final. Toumani Camara career highs with 9 threes and 35 points. They will get the equally awful Milwaukee Bucks Wednesday night, as they are still a half game behind the Clippers in the race for the 8th spot in the West. Major League Baseball season all set to start on Wednesday. The Cubs reportedly finalizing a contract extension with 24-year-old Gold Glove center fielder Pete Crow Armstrong. And in the college ranks, the Oregon Ducks baseball team ranked 20th in the country, opening up a 5-game road trip in California tonight against the Tritons of UC San Diego. 6 p.m. first pitch. We'll have pregame coverage at 5:45 on 910 ESPN Portland. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigard from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work. Insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Recruiting with Andrew.
Hey, let's do this. Final hour. Dirt and Sprague here, Portland Sports Leader, 105.1 FM, The Fan, 1080 AM, the Odyssey app, live on YouTube.
Time to nut up or shut up.
You're right, it is. Dan, I'm ready to nut up or shut up.
I feel like Patrick wants to sack it up with us.
You think he wants a sack? I love talking to P. Harris, man. He's always in here early, pops in, says hello. Yeah. It's also nice, like we have, and I never used to have to do this because when we were till 9 back in the old schedule.
Yes.
There wasn't a live show after us, and we were done. And so we just kind of sit in here with our feet up for an hour after the show and not have to go anywhere. But now we have a line change.
Exactly.
And so it's kind of, you got 4 minutes to get your stuff down, turn your computer on, log in, get your microphone right. Like you got not a lot of time. No. And so in moments where there's not another host here, he's already logged in. He's all set up and ready to go. He's got a show sheet up over there. So he's pre-gaming. He's getting ready, prepping for his show. They're coming up here an hour from now. Lots to get to, including a bet. I'll explain that a little bit later on in this hour. But you know what it's time for, Jason Swigard?
Mail sack. Mail sack.
Mail sack. Mail sack time. One of my favorite 30 minutes of radio of the entire week. I enjoy it because you,
to sack it
my
up.
Friends, are the driver of this bus.
Exactly.
You are the creator of content here. We give you the tools to do your own radio show.
We filter a little.
Here we go. Mail sack question numero uno. Are you ready? Would you prefer to get a week off, a few weeks throughout the year, or get 1 full month off for vacation? So essentially, let's say a week every quarter or 1 consecutive month, and that's your vacation for the year.
I am at a point in my life with Sans kids, empty nest. I would take the full month.
You do the month to kind of do what you're going to Italy and just take an extended vacation away.
Yep.
And then not worry about having to work the rest 11 months straight, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
outside of holidays and stuff.
Well, plus doing what I do with basketball and then baseball season.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
So if you give me from say. Especially when everybody goes back to school because the hop season ends right after Labor Day.
Yep.
So I get from like the second week of September to the second week of October.
Ooh, that's the week you would want to take off.
And I can go anywhere for a month and
do whatever you want.
Take the missus, and we're cruising and wherever we want to go. Just set up shop, find some little villa or Verbo for a month or
sounds
whatever.
Delightful, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I'm still able to, kind of do things locally, weekends if we want to get away, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, especially with our hours. I mean, we're done so early in the day on Fridays usually. If you've got nothing going on, you can jet out of town.
We're sneaking away to Bend, going to go see PAX this weekend. Neither one of us has anything going on, so it's like, let's go.
Yeah, I think where your stage is in life is a big determining factor of your answer here. But I understand if you have
kids in school and all of that sort of stuff, I think you'd rather have a week every few months where you can.
I like the idea of it better. I certainly grant having a month straight off would be great, and just not with nothing to do and vacation and going wherever you want. I'm also somebody who I enjoy my little pockets. Like a week around Christmas, usually a week in early spring. You take
I'm
a week
assuming
around
the holidays
July.
are still the holidays.
Sure, but not every day is a holiday in there, right? Like we usually take a week off in there. So I would take the few weeks throughout the year just to give myself little gaps, little reset every now and then.
Well, also when you have young kids and families, when you're not working, you're still working.
It never stops.
It never stops.
Yeah.
So you need some more frequent times to catch your breath.
Not have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Great opener for the mail sack. Mail sack question number 2 with Sprague out. We got to bring off some hot golf talk. Oh, don't tickle me.
Nice.
Don't tickle me with a good time. 2 inches is a lot, buddy. So who are we eyeing with major season shortly upon us? From P1 Shane, I'm high on Xander capturing another one now that he's gotten healthy, and I think Sepp Straka has a sneaky good chance to break through as a first-time winner. Who are we eyeing heading into major
certainly
season?
Fitzpatrick.
Matty Fitzpatrick.
What he's doing recently.
Scotty Scheffler withdrew this morning. Nobody knows why. Uh-oh.
I still think there's something going on equipment-wise. Like something's changed.
There's random rumors out there that he is being forced to use the new TaylorMade driver, and he does not like the new TaylorMade driver because you ready for this? He hits it too straight.
Yeah.
And he likes to put some spin action on that
ball.
And it's not letting him work.
Not quite Bubba factor, but he likes to work the ball.
And in the new TaylorMade driver, he's hitting the ball too straight.
Those guys are so dialed in. Like because they want to do something consistently, and once they figure out what it is that they do consistency, whether it's fading it, drawing it, but they're so good and they're so dialed in that then to tinker with that, unless it's of their own volition because they don't like what's going on anymore, it just...
What were the rumors about Tigers for years that he used to take golf balls and then they'd paint the Nike logo on them?
Exactly.
But it was actually a Pro V1 or a Bridgestone or whatever he wanted to use, but they needed to, for purposes of
marketing things,
business reasons, he needed it to be a Nike golf ball.
Eventually these guys, I mean, if the purses keep going up and they keep doing other stuff, I'm surprised that more of them don't just go, I'm going to put whatever in the bag.
Mix and match your bag.
Mix and match.
These wedges, this driver.
About the sponsorship deals. I'll do a clothing deal. I'll do a shoe deal.
Sure.
I'll do a golf ball deal, but I'm not going to do an equipment deal.
That's a good point.
Because I've made enough money now on the tour.
Yeah.
Where I don't need the extra whatever.
Yeah. Of guys that I'm looking forward to, like Fitzpatrick's got one major under his belt. He certainly can be competitive, and he has been a lot over the years. Akshay is somebody who I can't stand, but he's kind of a nerd and a dweeb, and he's playing great golf right now. And then it was watching Cam Young play the way he did at the end of the Players, and I know Players doesn't always directly correlate to what you're going to do in major season, but it's the first big
That guy's
test.
unflappable.
He seems like he's super calm. The drives that he hit on 17 to hit the green and 18 to hit at 375 out there, like Cam Young's
for him,
Ryder Cup experience last year too.
It's more about him kind of situation, looking at the leaderboard. He can hammer it out there but sometimes, especially at Augusta, it's like, all right, is your situational golf on the back nine,
knowing where to put it, where to land it? Yeah.
Okay, I don't need to.
Where's the big mistake going to come?
I need to not make a double bogey here.
Yeah. How do I be smart about it?
So I'm okay with a par. I don't have to make a birdie here.
Yeah.
If I hit a great approach shot and stick it close, that sort of stuff. But I think that's the one piece of his. But certainly he seems unflappable. I haven't looked at. I don't know if we got reliable weather forecasts yet for Augusta.
Probably too soon, I would imagine.
Probably another week, and we'll start to get a good sense.
By the end of next week, you'll get an idea
dealing with.
of it.
Is it going to be? Are we going to get rains and it's going to be super wet, thunderstorms, or is it going to be
changes the landscape of the tournament? There's no doubt.
Warm and dry
for the big hitters. Next mail sack, and then we'll take a pause and get to the rest of the questions on the other side. This one, where did it go? Mail sack question: baseball is here. What Major League Baseball stadium will you travel to this year? Will you make a trip to any Major League Baseball stadium? We're ever going to see Swigard go to a Dodger game?
It's certainly on there. It depends on how poor I am when I
you
get
got a
back
tough
from Italy.
Yeah, you got a tough one.
But late August, September, certainly Might be looking at that. I'm not going to be anywhere else. Now, we are going as part of – so in April is the big fraternity brother reunion. We're going to Louisville. We're going to the AAA stadium. Louisville Bats.
The Louisville Bats?
So we're doing that, which will be a blast. We're going – that's Friday night when most everybody has arrived.
Yeah.
And we figured that's a good, easy – we're kind of in a group. We're in a club area. It's not super expensive. Everybody can kind of come, hang. Everybody's on their own for, if you want to go deep that night at the ballpark, that's on you.
Yeah.
And then Saturday's the big, the expensive dinner where we've got a place.
Right.
But so no, other than probably getting up for a Mariner game, don't know that that's going to happen, but that's more a function of we've got some big excursions.
We're going to
planned.
Italy for a month. That'll do it to you. I will be at the only one I'm going to go to this year is Safeco. We haven't fully planned it yet, but the Giants are there.
My friend.
My apologies. T-Mobile, the pink. I'm going to go be in the pink. Yeah. Who doesn't like being in the pink? They are playing, I think it's in the middle to back end of July.
Oh, the Giants
are in
coming?
town. They're up in, they split off every other year, right?
One
year. Last year they were in San Francisco. This year they're in Seattle. So they're up there at the end. We went 2 years ago. I went with my dad and brother, and we went up and watched, and my nephew, and we had a great time. Took the train up and watched a game. And so it was tough for me.
Always a great time. Summertime there.
Oh, it's perfect. The only thing I didn't like about that one was this is really dumb, but it was the week 0 of college football the last time the Giants were there, and so I missed the first weekend of football games, which wasn't that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, but you wait all summer for football, and I'm like, damn it. So this one, end of July, there's nothing going on at the end of July.
Who does it? Are the Huskies? Who the Huskies got early? You can go boo Jed Fish.
No, so this one's in July. So it's not that. That was the problem the last time they were in Seattle 2 years ago. Because I remember it was the day of the Georgia Tech win over Florida State. And I remember watching it on my phone on the train.
So it was late August.
It was late, August. Yeah, towards the end of the regular season. This one is right after the All-Star break, I think, a week or two after maybe. So I'll be up there likely, I don't know about Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but it is a weekend series. So I'll get up there for probably the Saturday game. That'll be fun. More Millsack on the other side. Your questions, see if you can fire them in. We'll see if we got any more time. 503-864-6326. We'll answer them next on The Fan.
When the tournament moment calls for bold, break your beak. Beak Breaker IPA from Pelican Brewing. Enough to break your beak, not your bracket.
To a close, 27 wins. They finished second in the Big Ten. But this is Virginia's moment. First 4 to Sweet 16. Party like it's Y2K.
A lot of boring games in the ladies' tournament yesterday. Not that one on ESPN. Matt Shoemaker on the call. Virginia pulled off an upset over the 2 seed in their region. The game went to double overtime, and 10-seeded Virginia from the first 4 is going to its first Sweet 16 since 2000. And first team by any team said that played in the first 4 in the ladies' tournament. So a pretty cool deal out of the ladies' tournament.
I think just one. I think there's only 2 teams outside the top 4 seeds that made it to the Sweet 16. Notre Dame was the 6th seed.
They'll lose their next game by 80 points probably, but still fun to be in the Sweet 16 nonetheless. Bracket Bus Report brought to you by Beak Breaker IPA. Pelican Brewing, packed with citrus hops, killer aroma, a smooth finish. Beak Breaker, enough to break your beak, and now your bracket.
Want a beer?
All right, a bet to file away for this week. That's coming up 10 minutes from now. And baseball's back this week. You know that? Opening night, live on Netflix.
I can't wait.
Tomorrow night, March 25th, Aaron Judge and the Yankees clash with Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. MLB opening night, Yankees-Giants live on Netflix tomorrow.
Garrett Cole going for them Pacific. In the opener?
I would assume so.
Let me go look. I got lines up for opening
Logan Webb
day.
didn't blow out his arm in the World Baseball Classic, so I'd imagine he is
what do we got?
He's pitching that game?
No, it's Max Fried and Logan Webb.
Max Fried. Did Cole have Tommy John? Did he blow out his arm?
I can't remember what he did.
Well, that's Jake, our resident Yankee fan out there, because I think the boss
I know today it's the last spring training game, so the Doyers and Angels against Shohei's last spring training start.
There you go. It's all wrapping up today, and the regular season begins tomorrow, and everybody plays on Thursday. Let's get to the rest of the mail sack questions. Nice little looking sack today. Well, let me scroll down and get back to these in the mail sack. Here we go. Mail sack questions. Speaking of the Yankees, who was under the most pressure to win a championship? Josh Allen, Connor McDavid, or Aaron Judge? This is easy for me because I think the popularity of the sport is significantly greater than the Josh Allen is number one, and it's not even close.
Oh.
I have never been somebody, and we actually, ironically, we had this debate off the air, because Patrick Harris comes in here the other day, kicks in the door, starts telling me about how Derek Jeter is one of the 10 best players of all time.
Settle down.
And I'm like, dude, I know that's not actually what he argued, but I think it was 10 most influential players. I can't remember the exact description he put on it. And we got into this whole thing about, well, look at all the championships he won, and we're yelling at each other about Derek Jeter, who I think is one of the most overrated players in the history of the sport. And the boss isn't here today, so I can't get canned for this today, so I'm going to give the take anyways. Like, if you put him in a Royals jersey, he's a good player. Like,
he's Bobby Witt Jr.
We know who he is, but he's not this iconic. He's an iconic figure because he played for the Yankees and won championships.
Made him important. He didn't make the pinstripes important.
Thank you. They were important before he got there, and they were important after he got there. He was a cog for a long time for those wearing those pinstripes.
Babe Ruth made the pinstripes important.
Yes, he did. I have never been somebody who has looked at baseball greats and said, yeah, but what have they won? Yeah, but Ken Griffey Jr. is one of the greatest players in the history of baseball.
Went to the playoffs like twice.
And that doesn't knock him down in any sort of pantheon of all-time conversations for me. Aaron Judge is one of the greatest hitters we have ever seen. Does he fall short occasionally in moments in the playoffs? Sure, a lot of people do.
I would say Tony Gwynn was more influential.
He went to one, and they got smoked by the Yankees in the World Series. Yeah. But I'm with you. Like this idea that you have to have championships, I just don't treat baseball that way because one guy has 4 at-bats a game.
Well, and the other thing is forever it was that the playoffs were so limited. You had to win your division
just to get in.
It wasn't until the last, 15, 20 years where you've got wild cards and divisional series and all that sort of stuff.
We didn't even used to have a playoff. They just take the team with the best record in the AL. You go play in a World Series.
Yeah,
there you go.
Until they went to divisions in the
Wait a minute, we can make more money off of this?
60s or 70s.
All right, let's do it. Let's cash in. So, Aaron Judge, I would, for me personally, now this might be laughable to some, I would go Josh Allen 1, Connor McDavid 2, Aaron Judge 3.
I would actually go Connor McDavid 1, Josh Allen 2.
Connor McDavid gets this.
And
lost the gold medal game. He's lost 2 Stanley Cup finals. He's the best player in the sport, but he's missing some of the hardware that goes with
I would say hockey is more important to Canada than even the NFL is to the United States.
I think winning is more important to the legacy of hockey players than it is baseball players. Might be laughable to some,
when you're playing for the franchise that has the great one.
Yes. And when McDavid came up, he was considered the next chosen one. Like this isn't an Jokic Caserito guy. He was number 1 pick, prodigy, child star. And the last time we had a guy like was Crosby. And what did Crosby do? He came in and won 2 Stanley Cups right away. He had the golden goal in overtime and a gold medal game in the Olympics. Like, immediately piled up hardware that put him on the same pedestal as the other guys. I would say McDavid is more akin to the start of the career of LeBron James, where he came up, everybody knew about him. We acknowledge his greatness, but he has not been able to break through and win the biggest thing that he needs to win yet. And do they do it this year? I don't know. We'll wait and see. I don't blame him for McDavid won. I hope they win one this year. I love watching McDavid play. I'm rooting for him to win. Judge.
Well, he doesn't have Draisaitl now.
No, he does not. No, he does not. Mail sack question: if Logan Paul and Damian Lillard met in the boxing ring, who do you think would win? I don't know enough about boxing to answer that question. I would assume Logan Paul's
Lillard
bigger.
does boxing training.
He does. I also think there's a difference between training and actually fighting.
I don't know how well Damian can take punishment.
Yeah, how big is
in a boxing ring? I know
Logan, how tall is Logan Paul? Do we know? He's 6'2", so the height's not that big of a difference.
Probably about the same size.
About the same size. I mean, from the experience, I would take Logan Paul. But I would root like hell for Lillard.
Oh, yeah.
To win the fight. I'd love to see him get knocked out again. Mailsack question: if all coaches in professional and college sports had to wear the game uniform like they do in baseball, which ones would be the most hilarious to see?
It'd be basketball.
This guy votes Mick Cronin or Dana Altman in college basketball. That's a pretty good poll. Funny to see wear the uniform. I mean, football would be the funniest. If you had to be in shoulder pads on the sideline, it would be pretty goofy. Like Bill Belichick wearing a uniform on the sideline in North Carolina, if you went that far. But if we're taking pads out of it,
it's basketball. If they can wear the sweats, that's one thing.
Because
But
they're
if they
basically
have
already
to wear
wearing
the tank top and the shorts,
Mick Cronin's hard to top, dude. His tiny ass wearing that uniform. Hopefully the shorts are a little too big for him too. Little guy problem where they kind of go down to your ankles a little bit. Mick Cronin walking around on the sidelines. That'd be pretty good. It's hard to come up with better examples than that. Mailsack, the Dodgers over-under in 2026 is 102.5.
It's actually come down. I think it's right at 99.5 places. But yeah, it's right around 100.
Giants over-under is 80.5 per DraftKings. Swag, are you willing to give up 20 games to dirt, and what is the bet? I mean, are we just asking who's going to hit the over here?
I would say it's more likely that the Giants hit the over.
I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain.
Dodgers.
I have hammered the over on the Giants this year.
Yeah.
Hammered it. Just to go 500 is all you need to do to hit the over. I think they've gotten better in the offseason. Now, significantly better.
And the Dodgers learned last year. So the first year they assembled the mega team when first year they got Ohtani and they were trying to win every stinking game every night. And then the playoffs got a little dicey.
Yeah.
They understand. They will be far more cautious. Now, I think the lineup's going to be even better this year with Tucker in it. And hopefully Mookie, Mookie was out a lot last year.
Mm-hmm.
So if they have more consistency with the position players and they can roll that lineup out there day after day, I think they'll win more games than they did last year. Winning 100 games is hard.
That's not easy to do.
No matter how potent you are.
Yeah, my team's just got to be over 500 to hit the over.
I would hope that they would have more health in their starting rotation than they did last year.
Oh, I'm sure they will, Swag. I think your team will be okay. Your back-to-back championships, I know. It's been so hard for you. And all the injuries you had to go through last year.
So
you're already doing this? Are you really already doing this? The season haven't even started yet. You're already doing this?
Of course.
God, you are insufferable. Just sit on top of your throne and laugh at everybody about winning championships. You know you're going to win another one this year. Stop with the woe is me stuff about injuries. Yes, you are. You literally just ranted about injuries in your lineup. Mookie missed a lot of games last year. They win the World Series?
Yeah.
Okay, did they go through injuries in the rotation?
They did not have the best record, I don't believe,
sure, you can say you think they're going to hit the under. That's fine.
I'm saying they're going to hit the under because they're going to be more cautious. And guys, if it's touchy, they're going to... All right, let's skip one in the rotation.
Oh, can they survive that? Yeah, you think they'll be okay? You think they'll be all right over there? You're going to be okay, Swag. You might not have Mookie for 100 games. Oh, no.
I'd love to. I don't think we got Mookie for 100 games last year.
You were insufferable. Mail sack question. Why do you guys like eating hot dogs in the summer and at baseball games so much? It's a child's food. You should expand your palate by grilling up some bratwurst sausages and maybe a rye bun. It's a difference growing up at the PNW compared to the Midwest. We eat brats and sauerkraut as kid. You could buy at least Johnsonville brats at the store. Are you under the assumption that we don't ever eat bratwurst? I'm a little confused by this.
Yeah.
Do you think I only cook hot dogs when I eat hot dog?
The hot dog is...
I'll eat a hot dog occasionally.
I save it for the baseball experience.
Do you think only people in the Midwest grow up on bratwurst? We don't eat bratwurst out here?
Yeah. No, that's part of the experience.
We joke about hot dogs on the show, but yeah.
We joke about it a lot, but no, I have brats.
I actually can't tell you the last time I had an actual hot dog.
I was at the grocery store yesterday, and
did you buy
for
some?
Opening day, I got some Nathan's 100% all beef Franks.
That's not a bad idea for opening day.
And Thursday.
Weather's supposed to be pretty nice Thursday, too.
Yeah.
Fire up the grill, be
Dodgers
a little warm.
are 5:30 there, the NBC national game on Thursday. Yamamoto and Zach Gallen with the D-backs.
Look, I love joking about hot dogs because they're funny and they gross some people out, and not a lot grosses me out. If you put hot dogs in front of me, I'll eat them. I'm not disrespecting the hot dog, but if I'm ever grilling of any, it's always
brats are something I have regularly.
Yeah, I'm not a big sauerkraut guy. I never have been, but you give me some
really fresh sauerkraut that's not over soured, and you get some.
I don't care.
You get some fennel in there.
I'm out on that. Otto's is right by my house. I knew the people who run Otto's is one of the greatest places in our local city.
Place. They do a lot of their own different brats out there.
So I apologize if you under the assumption we only eat hot dogs.
No,
I promise
we joke
you,
about it a lot.
We don't have the palate of a 4-year-old, and I love eating bratwurst and sausage. I probably eat some kind of sausage once a week. The kiddo loves sausage.
Oh, there you go.
Loves it. Of like the protein that I could get him to eat, a good sausage. Like I cut the skin off because it's a little bit. Sometimes it can be a little chewy. Oh, dude, we had what were we eating the other night? I think I made pasta on Sunday. Every time I make pasta, you got to make sausage. Every time.
Have you introduced spice at all? Some chorizo, possibly, or an Italian sausage?
I have not tried that. I have not quite gone. I've gone Italian style, but not like a spicy Italian sausage. So I haven't gone that far yet. But that's the next. That's the next step we'll jump over with him. Okay. So I'm very excited about that. Love me a good sausage. Alrighty, there you go. Millsack every Tuesday. What day of the week it is?
Tuesday.
From 9 to 9:30.
Magic Hat Thursday.
Let's get to a bet that I remembered a year ago. Dirt, don't be an idiot and forget this. I'm not an idiot. Well, sometimes I'm an idiot, but not right now I'm an idiot. And I'm going to tell you what that bet is, and we'll all try and make some money together. We'll explain. Get to it next. But first, here's us with a update.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, break up the Pilots baseball team. They've won 7 in a row, 13 of their last 15. They hammered Northwestern 8-3 last night. They got an outstanding start from Carter Gaston, gave up 1 earned in 7 innings, struck out 5. Apparently, I have an unknown cousin, Trey Swigart.
Oh, we got a Swigart?
Spells it with a T rather than a D. He went 2 for 4 with a double and 2 RBIs. He's got a 6-game hitting streak. They are home this weekend hosting St. Mary's, looking to stay undefeated in West Coast Conference play.
The biggest news of the day in the sports world, we all know what it is, and that is the Big Cat's back. He's playing tonight, and I'm going to be watching. Am I a loser? Yeah. Do I got problems?
That's why you have all the red on today.
That's why we're wearing red today, baby. Tiger's back. TGL final. I don't really know what that means, but Tiger Woods is swinging a golf club, and it's going to be on ESPN tonight. And you bet your ass I'm going to watch, and I'm going to laugh my ass off when this number comes in and the rating jumps from what all the other events have been this year to what it is tonight. It's going to be hilarious to see. Welcome back, Big Cat. Good to see you, buddy.
There you go. More college baseball and fake golf stories in 30 minutes. Jason Swigart from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for
right, welcome back in. Baseball returns tomorrow. I'm excited about that. The Mariners are... Look, I make a lot of fun of the Mariners. I love poking and prodding. It's a fun little banter back and forth.
There's a lot of expectation.
A lot of hype up there. I get it. And also something they've always been the best at in Major League Baseball was, again, their status was reaffirmed. Not a lot of things that the Mariners have been the best at. I would argue, now, I have an incomplete picture because I don't see it all over the country.
True.
But theirs tend to go viral more than others.
Yes.
How the teams put together their local commercials for the market.
Yes.
And they've been known for that for years. Their local commercials have been
back
phenomenal.
to the Griffey A-Rod, Edgar days.
Forever,
There was
right?
some great stuff.
They came out with one yesterday, and I was laughing my ass off. And it was, the premise of it is basically, if you haven't seen it, go look it up. It's all over their socials. But the premise of it is basically like relievers can't make a normal entrance in any situation in life. And it shows a bunch of their bullpen pitchers sitting in a cafeteria eating lunch, and all of a sudden the lights go down and the TV screens have flames on them and there's strobe lights going, and then a smoke machine, and Munoz walks in, and it's like, and he walks in and says hi to his teammates and grabs a plate of food, and it's perfect, right? So they've always been great at that. Baseball's back in the news, and I made a point last year.
Yes.
We missed this, and I was livid at myself for missing it. And so I'm going to provide a 48-hour heads up. Now, if I tell you something, Jason Swigard, has happened, let me pull up the specific amount of time that this has taken place to make sure my notes are correct. If something had happened, we are currently in 2026. I don't know if you're aware of that. It's 2026.
So this is a trend.
2025, 2024, 2023, 2022, 2021, 2020.
6 years in a row.
6 consecutive years, something has happened. Would you say we got a decent sample size here? This is a trend.
Yes.
Okay. The trend is, and I remember bringing this up after opening day last year, livid that I forgot to do it because I think I'd mentioned it the year before and then totally spaced on it. But you got 2 days to do this.
Okay.
Something has happened 6 years in a row in baseball. Will it happen again this year?
Who?
Tyler O'Neill. Who do you know who he plays for now?
Oh, I don't know who he plays for.
He
was with the Orioles, wasn't he?
He's with the Orioles, yeah.
Is he still there?
He is still in Baltimore. According to his spring training.
Hits a home run.
He has hit a home run in 6 consecutive opening days.
All right. They get the Twins.
They're playing the Twins on opening day.
Noon Thursday.
Tyler O'Neill to hit a home run. He hit 9 home runs all of last year, by the way. He's hit one on 6 consecutive opening days. Right now, to hit 1 home run is plus 304. Now, you can do 2 more like if you want.
Now, Is the manager know this and knows to put him in the starting lineup?
I don't know if he's in that. I couldn't even tell you that. I just know for 6 years in a row he's hit a home run. So I'd imagine at least he's going to get a pinch hit opportunity. But in terms of odds to hit a home run, the only players who have better odds than him to hit a home run in the game are Buxton of the Twins
and Alonso
of the O's.
The polar bear has gone south.
How many guys will I? Yeah, that's not that far south, but technically you're right. This is that fun moment of the year, too, where you remember, oh, that's right. He plays for them now. Pete Alonso on Baltimore. Completely forgot about that. He's now an O. But Tyler O'Neill has the 3rd highest odds to hit a home run in the game. So I'd imagine he's a part of their starting lineup. Maybe we can ask our resident Oriole fan, Joe Fisher, whether or not he's slated to be the starter. But I made a point of emphasis last year. Don't forget it this year. You have 2 days to go bet Tyler O'Neill to hit a home run. He's done it 6
at the O's depth
consecutive
chart here
years.
Quick.
Yeah, is he a DH or is he still playing in the field? Is he? I don't know what stage of his career he's at. I mean, he's not a great player anymore.
They got him as the 4th outfielder.
Okay, so maybe they're DH then, or one of the top 3 is the DH.
But okay, what is double?
The last time you looked at projected
Dylan
lineups,
Beavers
it got you in
is
trouble.
the starting right fielder and is listed as day-to-day.
Oh, he's a little banged up.
You got Jackson Holiday, Jordan Westberg, Andrew Kittredge that are all out, so there's a good chance
he's in the opening day lineup
that he would be in either as a DH or the 4th outfielder.
Okay.
If they've got to move guys around. Pete Alonso will be the starting first baseman, so he won't be DHing. So there's a good chance
he's in one spot or the other.
He will be in the starting lineup opening day.
Okay, so I wanted to file that away for everybody. Go bet it. You got 2 days to go do it. They play their first game. I think it's one of the first games up of the day, if I'm not wrong.
They're at noon. Let me see when the proceedings get underway here. Going back, first game up is Pittsburgh Mets. Paul Skeens, Freddie Peralta, 10:15 a.m.
Okay.
They are the fourth game up.
Fourth game of the day, and I will be betting that, and I will be glued
Former
to...
Beef Matt Boyd getting the opening day start for the Cubs hosting the Nationals, 11:20 at Wrigley.
They gave Pete PCA an extension yesterday.
Yeah, I haven't seen the final numbers on
Neither
it, but
have
it said
I.
they were finalizing it to keep him there patrolling Wrigley.
I mean, he was great. 30 year. I think he won a Gold Glove last year. He was awesome last season. So, yeah, no reason not to do that. One other quick baseball note, and then we'll go wrap up the show today. I saw this, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's why people get frustrated, not only with this organization, but with the sport. The number one prospect in the sport is Connor Griffin. We talked about him throughout the course of spring training. He plays for the Pirates.
What are the Pirates doing with him?
You want to go ahead and take a guess where he's going to begin the year?
AAA?
Yes. Of course he is. Because why not? Why would you want to give fans something to be? How about the idea of, I know they're on the road in New York, but Skeens and this cat, one of the top pitching prospects and now bona fide superstars and the number one prospect in the sport. Opening day gives you something to be hopeful for. Not so fast,
So let me go
friend.
look and see who
He's starting in AAA. It's like, yeah, I'm sure whoever the Pirates have in their way is somebody who hit over 215 and hit 7 home runs and have 32 RBIs.
Jared Triolo.
I mean, how do you not know Jared Triolo? Big fan of his game. Good range. Getting to the hole.
28 years old.
What did he hit last year? Give me the numbers.
227.
Yep. How many home runs and RBIs?
7 dingers and 24 RBIs.
Did I nail that perfectly, or did I nail that perfectly? I mean, why would I want to watch the number one prospect of the sport when I can watch a Triolo play shortstop, okay?
He's 10 for 42 in preseason. No home runs and 4 RBI and 12 strikeouts.
Oh, good stuff. All righty. Well, there you go. Go bet Tyler O'Neill to hit a home run opening day. There is your public service announcement of the week. Baseball returns. We'll have some fun with that tomorrow.
We might have to do ballpark food.
Let's do
tomorrow.
Let's do some ballpark food talk.
Because there's one that most of it is just like way over the top and ridiculous.
Yes.
There's one, the Marlins have something, and it's one of the best things I've seen in a while.
I will also add to a connection to the conversation we had yesterday about the 999 challenge.
Yeah.
So the Mets are not the only team doing this. This is happening in about 10 or so ballparks around the big
hopefully
leagues.
somebody, if you got a...
They're all the same. They're all, I don't know if it's a baseball, Major League Baseball pass it down, and the beer pours are 4 ounces.
What's a shot glass of beer?
It's a shot glass of beer.
That's stupid.
It's ridiculously dumb.
You're going to get ripped by everybody who shows up and pays for it and wants to do it.
Right.
Stop it. If you can't do it, sell the package so it's a full-on challenge because your liquor license is going to get yanked because I understand serving somebody 9
Have
beers
them
in the
sign
course
a waiver.
of the game.
Sign a waiver. Here's your piece of paper. You're not going to get in trouble. I
Then
can't sue
don't
you.
do it.
Yeah. Then what are we? It's just not.
Stop promoting it. It's not real.
No.
Go away.
Exactly. So there's an update on the conversation from yesterday. Baseball's back tomorrow. Excited about that. Let's put a ball on the show tonight, or today. What's ahead for tonight? Look ahead to the day in sports, and thanks for keeping an eye on. Close it up next on The Fan. All right, welcome back in. Firma Harrison Moran coming up top of the hour. Last segment for us today. It's been a fun show. We've been all over the map, having some fun. A W amputee killed somebody. We talked about that. Professional cornhole player. What is that league going to do? How will they overcome? I do not know. My mind's been on the Masters a lot lately because it's right around the corner. I already got betting guides down.
Yeah, we got 2 Texas tournaments here to get us
kind
ready.
Kind of lead into the Masters, which I can't wait. We talked about Thomas Rhett being the cover of Georgia on My Mind. That got me to yell at clouds because I'm an old man and bring back Ray Charles. What are we doing?
You found out, though, Scotty Scheffler withdrawing.
For child reasons. I didn't know they were having another kid. I didn't know she was pregnant again.
I sort of knew that in the back of my mind, but yes, about to have child number 2. So nothing with his golf game. He's
not injured.
Attending to family responsibilities.
Totally random and off the beaten path, but a local-ish story, if people are curious of it. This was kind of crazy. So I knew that this guy had gotten into it, but to the level I did not realize. Did you see they are coming out with a documentary on, I believe this is going to air on NBC. Let me double check.
Oh. Like on the Peacock
It
Network?
is one of the more weird synergy stories, but then I remembered, I'm like, oh, that's right. I forgot he was there last year. This comes out April 5th on NBC, so that'll be right about a little bit before the tournament tees off. They are doing a documentary on NBC about Ken Griffey Jr. being a photographer and his experience going through a crash course on how to do it at the Masters last year.
Wow.
So it's an NBC/Masters kind of, synergy project, and it's the trailer of it's great, and it's him sitting in the camera room with all these normal run-of-the-mill photographers who are like, it's Ken Griffey Jr. over there, and people criticizing his photos of this is blurry or this isn't the right, you got to do that, and him talking about going through coaching and taking his, he's very passionate about it. Didn't Randy Johnson get super into photography too?
Yes, very, very
He's
much
always
so.
out doing, he's got the big cameras and he's into it, and so if you're a Mariner fan, I don't know, it was kind of a fun look of a trailer that follows him from last year's Masters walking around. And if I remember correctly, I thought he got one of the more iconic shots on Sunday after Rory won. And it was like, ooh, that was Griffey's picture. It's like, that's random. That's Ken Griffey Jr.'s picture. So if you're a Mariner fan wondering what Griffey's been up to, you probably knew photography, but that's coming out. The Masters teased that. It'll be on April 5th on NBC. And it follows him around the tournament, carrying his camera around. One of the more random things I think would be to be at the Masters as a patron and just turn around and you're like, wait a minute. Ken? Is that you? You taking pictures right now?
He got into that so he could have a career where he could still wear his hat backwards?
Good question.
Because you can't wear it forwards if you're through the viewfinder.
Usually you would think, if you're taking your photos, you're flipping that thing around backwards, right? To get it out of the way. Yeah, not a bad call. Although he still has a great head of hair. Now, I don't know how real it is, but everything that they're showing of him in the trailer, phenomenal head of hair.
Yeah.
It looks good. So, he was on the green at the end of the tournament. He was one of the photographers that was surrounding the 18th green in the playoff hole. And so I think he ended up with a pretty notable photograph. And there are funny little tidbits in the trailer of him standing in the crowd and a camera following him and people turning around and being like, dude, is that... Hey, Ken, like trying to. He's like, I'm just trying to work, man. I'm just trying to.
I don't know where they obviously they have some designation. A lot of times it's an armband you wear on your
He's also a big dude. Like if we're
he's
talking
still
like
6'3",
he's still a big, large human being who will stand out. And the face. That's if you're a sports fan
sure
over
you're
20, you know.
But he's rushing by you as everybody's trying to get in place.
Griffey.
Like, wait, is that Junior?
Yes. That is. So that's kind of fun. That's in the news. I am eagerly excited. I know it's kind of dumb. I am eagerly excited to watch Tiger Woods play golf tonight. So I will have that on my bingo card to watch this evening.
I just can't get into the TGO.
I don't blame you. I'm right there with you usually, but this is an outlier for me.
There was only one NHL game last night, and the Rangers were a candidate for stinking it up. I think they only had single-digit shots on goal last night.
I was only one game in the league last night. Just a random scheduling oddity.
Yeah. 15 games tonight.
Everybody playing tonight, basically.
Everybody playing. Kraken are at the Panthers. That's a 4 p.m. Edmonton are at the Mammoth. That's 6:30. I forget what the TNT game is. Let me go.
Yeah, we got TNT Tuesday, right?
Yeah, there's only one there tonight. It's 4:30. It is the Wild at the Lightning. The Avalanche are at the Penguins. you got some good stuff going on.
Okay, so you're going to be tuning in to NHL tonight?
I will be dialing up the NHL.
Your doubleheader in the NBA tonight is Magic and Cavs on NBC, and then Nuggets and Suns. That is your doubleheader.
The Suns have ruled.
I want nothing to do with that. I don't really care. Yeah, Cleveland's a 10-point favorite. Orlando's been underwhelming this year.
Orlando just lost a buzzer beater to the Pacers. So.
Yeah, I'm out. And Jokic is always fun to watch. So if I'm around, maybe I'll tune into that game, but it doesn't start till 8. So I'm not going to watch a ton of that. One random quick little story that I was surprised by, although this has happened probably in the past, but we're getting closer to the NFL draft. Field Yates has his first 2 mock.
Yeah, we're about a month away.
About a month away from the NFL draft. So we'll get a little bit into his mock tomorrow, but as we get closer to draft season, we're starting to get some of these guys who are signing deals with apparel companies. The Acuff kid, by the way, at Reebok, who's been kind of comped to Iverson a little bit, has signed a deal with Reebok.
Getting his own shoe.
First,
I think,
college kid, yes.
Men's college
huge
player.
Deal. He deserves it. He's a hell of a player.
Yeah, Reebok keeps signing guys. They got Flag.
Reebok's moving, making
moves.
moves.
They have Maxey.
Reebok
they have
and New
Jamal
Balance
Murray. They have
through.
Cameron Brink from the WNBA.
I saw this yesterday, and I was like, wait a minute, what? Adidas announced their signees of the incoming NFL draft class.
Yeah.
You know who was one of them? Kenyon Sadiq.
What happened there?
Was my exact thought as well, and I'm sure there's been other Oregon players who have been Adidas guys eventually.
How is that possible?
That was my exact thought. How do you let this guy slip through the cracks? What?
What are we doing?
Phil! Hello, Phil! Are you breathing?
Is he going to be allowed back on campus?
He's not wearing Adidas, he won't be. Not in the football facility. He can't wear Adidas in there. That was, kind of a random story. Like, they must have paid him a lot of money to do that. I guess good for him if he got a payday. That'll do it for us, folks. If you missed any of the show, go check the podcast, 1051thefan.com, at Dirt and Sprague, and at 1051thefan on Twitter. All over the map today. Fun one. Thanks for hanging with us on a Tuesday. Working on some stuff for tomorrow. We'll be a day closer to the Sweet 16. React to everything going on in the sports world tonight. Tiger being back, baby. Enjoy watching the big cat on your TV tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 6 a.m. The Firm. Harrison Meringue is next. Listen to 105.1 FM The Fan.